Chapter 76. No. Cooler screamed in panic, but was unable to stop Lin Chen from approaching. Seeing this, Cooler gritted his teeth, condensed all the energy in his body into an energy ball, and then smashed it towards his feet. This energy ball contained enough energy to destroy a planet. When Lin Chen, who was chasing closely behind him, saw it, he could only frown and turn to fly towards the energy ball. Suddenly, Lin Chen appeared in front of the energy ball. Without any defense, he just shouted loudly, and a yellow-green energy shield appeared in front of him, directly bearing the fierce attack of the energy ball for Lin Chen. Terrifying energy enough to destroy a planet exploded in an instant. Boom! The majestic and terrifying energy spread out in all directions, and the energy ball turned into a huge ball of fire, rushing up to a height of several thousand meters. The clouds above were dispersed in an instant, and invisible ripples suddenly spread out along the veins of space. At this moment, the entire planet seemed to be trembling slightly. Cooler flew into his spaceship, and as soon as his feet touched the ground, he ordered, "Take off. Fly at full speed immediately." "What? King Cooler, the spaceship's engine hasn't been preheated yet. Flying at full speed may cause the spaceship's engine to explode." A universe pilot turned his head and reminded. But before he could finish his words, a beam of light shot through his head. Cooler said angrily, "Who else wants to talk nonsense? Get out of here at full speed immediately." At this time, the smoke on the surface of the planet dissipated, and Lin Chen stood in the air unscathed. He looked up and saw Cooler's universe spaceship flying out of the atmosphere. He raised his hands high, slowly moved them to his waist, and then made the standard Kamehameha movement. Turtle style. The next moment, Lin Chen suddenly instant transmission arrived behind Cooler's spaceship and pushed his hands forward. Achievement. A thick golden ki blast was about to engulf Cooler's spaceship in an instant. But almost at the same time when Lin Chen performed his moves, Cooler's spaceship suddenly disappeared from the spot, making a series of explosions, and flew away directly. One step short? Never mind. Seeing that Cooler had escaped, Lin Chen had no choice but to give up and turned back to Saiyan's spaceship. He didn't have time just now, but now he had to teach Han-Asia a lesson. It was all because of him that he missed the world's #1 martial arts tournament. If he doesn't clean it up properly, it will be difficult to get rid of Lin Chen's resentment. At the same time, in the universe space not too far from Ifrit, Cooler's spaceship suddenly stopped from high speed. Shrill red alarms were sounding everywhere inside the spacecraft. Cooler, who had calmed down, folded his arms and stood motionless in the center of the spacecraft's command room. "Lord Cooler, the spaceship's engine is broken and it will take time to repair." Frieza came over to report. "Yet?" Cooler responded, then asked, "Frieza, what happened to Ifrit's database?" The Ifrits are known as one of the oldest civilizations in the universe. Although their strength is nothing in Cooler's eyes, there is a database on that planet that has been preserved for tens of millions of years, which records many secrets of the universe. This time, Cooler sent people to attack the planet Ifrit in order to find possible ways to improve strength in the database. Analysis has already begun, and technicians are already searching the database for intelligence that may be related to strengthening our capabilities. Frieza paused and said, "By the way, Master Cooler, I just heard from the technicians that they found an interesting planet in the database. That planet was listed as a life-restricted zone by the Ifrit people." "Oh? What's the name of that planet?" "My lord, this planet is called Bigo. According to the records of the Ifrit people, it is said that there is a demon sealed inside that has destroyed countless ancient technological civilizations." Bang! Cooler's tail thumped on the deck. "Frieza, order the spacecraft to repair itself and then go check out that Bigo star." "Yes, Master Cooler." A false alarm caused by a stomach upset ended here. After Lin Chen returned to Saiyan's spaceship, he originally planned to teach Han-Asia a lesson, but as soon as he saw Han-Asia, she cried and threw herself into Lin Chen's arms. "Your Majesty, I'm not pregnant." "Well, if you're not pregnant, then you're not pregnant. What's the big deal?" "But I really want to have your Majesty's child." "It's okay, at worst we can just work harder in the future." "Okay. Your Majesty, let's get started now." When Han-Asia heard this, she rushed towards Lin Chen without caring whether the two people were in the infirmary or not. Because of Han-Asia's incident, Lin Chen missed the 21st World Martial Arts Conference. Knowing that even if he returned to Earth now, he might not be able to watch the game, Lin Chen gave up the idea of returning to Earth temporarily and instead prepared to devote all his energy to the cultivation of his mental power. In addition, he also plans to train Bardock during this period. As a Saiyan warrior whose normal combat power is second only to Lin Chen, Bardock's strength finally exceeded 1 million after Lin Chen's potential development. According to Lin Chen's observation, the S cells in his body are already sufficient. With further training, Bardock may become the third Super Saiyan on Planet Vegeta after Han Asia. Once there is a third Super Saiyan on Planet Vegeta, Lin Chen will no longer have to be on the front line to provide rescue every time there is an incident similar to the one on Planet Ifrit. For this reason, Lin Chen decided to guide him personally. Meanwhile, Earth. Just like the original story, the world's best martial arts tournament ends with a showdown between Goku and Master Roshi, who goes by the alias Jackie Chan. The result of the duel was that Master Roshi still barely won the game. Master Roshi, who believes he has nothing left to teach Goku, suggests that Goku begin training on his own. At this time, Bulma inadvertently mentioned that when she was a child, she had visited Karin Tower and Celestial Temple with Lin Chen, which made little Goku suddenly yearn for it. He planned to go there to practice after finding his grandfather's 4-star bead. But on the way, Goku was attacked by the Red Ribbon Army who were also looking for the Dragon Ball, and thus began a battle for the Dragon Ball with the Red Ribbon Army. Just when little Goku was bravely entering Masruta, a blonde girl suddenly appeared on the street somewhere in the western capital. Ah! I'm finally home! Thais stretched her body and looked at the familiar environment around her with excitement, completely unaware that the passers-by were looking at her with suspicious eyes. Hey, did this woman just now appear suddenly? Well, it seems so. Is she a ghost? Chapter 77. Finally, Thais took a deep breath and noticed the gazes of others. She stuck out her tongue a little embarrassedly and put her finger between her eyebrows. The next moment, the people around who were still amazed discovered that Thais had disappeared again. If the previous one could be explained as dizziness, then this time, everyone really thought they had seen it. Immediately, screams were heard at the scene. Thais, who caused this small riot, was actually on the top of a nearby building. After leaving Earth for several months, Thais came back this time having learned instant transmission from the Adrit people. Having not seen her family for a long time, she missed her parents very much and immediately began to sense the location of her family. Bulma, are they all home? This is so strange, this energy, is Bulma fighting? Feeling that Bulma's breath was a little confused, Thais frowned strangely. It was at this moment that explosions suddenly sounded in the distance, followed by countless screams and gunshots. What's going on? Thais frowned and immediately used instant transmission. When she appeared again, she was already in her familiar home. What I saw was a battle scene. Dr. Brief and his wife were hiding behind a table, while Thais' sister Bulma was fighting with a purple-haired female soldier. Thais originally wanted to take action, but she found that Bulma and the female soldier were fighting back and forth and did not seem to need help. So she greeted her parents first. Mom and Dad, what's going on? Hey? Thais? Why are you back? Thais baby, let mommy see you. When they saw their eldest daughter, the doctor and his wife calmly forgot their fear and came forward to greet their daughter. Even Bulma couldn't help but turn her head and exclaimed, Sister! There's a chance. Upon seeing this, the female soldier immediately wanted to sneak attack Bulma, but Thais simply opened her palm and released a burst of energy at her. The female soldier was suddenly hit by an invisible car. She flew backwards and hit her head against the wall, fainting. Sister, there are still enemies outside. Hearing Bulma's cry, Thais walked outside and saw an army with strange symbols exchanging fire with the security forces of Zidu outside Dr. Brief's house. The security forces seemed to want to rush into Dr. Brief's house to rescue him, while the army was just stalling for time. 1, 2, this is my home. Thais shouted, rushed forward, and knocked down the soldiers with 3 punches and 2 kicks. A tank tried to point its gun at Thais, but before it could fire, it was blown to pieces by Thais' ki blast. The security forces on the periphery had seen the chaos on the other side and wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to launch a fierce attack, but now they suddenly saw that the tank was actually blown to pieces by a girl, and everyone was stunned. Clapping her hands, Thais returned home. Dad, what's going on? What is that army outside doing? You got rid of them all? Thais, I haven't seen you for a few months and you've become a bad boy. Dr. Brief said in surprise. Shut up. I just saved you, okay? In the end, it was Bulma who explained to her sister what had just happened. It turned out that the strange army was none other than the Red Ribbon Army, the evil army that is now famous on Earth. The Red Ribbon Army has high-tech equipment, huge financial resources and a group of extremely vicious soldiers, which makes the regular army tremble in fear. Recently, the Red Ribbon Army has set its sights on Dr. Brief's Universal Capsule Company. In recent years, due to the cooperation with Saiyan, Dr. Brief's Universal Capsule Company has launched many new products using alien technology in addition to the Universal Capsule. For example, high-strength alloys, new anti-gravity engines and so on. These new technologies attracted the Red Ribbon Army, which had not noticed the Universal Capsule Company in the original novel, and they tried to recruit Dr. Brief again and again. However, Dr. Brief rejected the Red Ribbon Corps' recruitment without hesitation. What followed was today's attack. The Red Ribbon Army sent a special force led by Colonel Violet, who originally wanted to kidnap Dr. Brief's family, but was stopped because of Bulma's activeness. The Zeta security forces who rushed to the scene after hearing the news also engaged in a fierce battle with the Red Ribbon Army outside. However, if ties hadn't arrived today, it would be hard to say what the final outcome would have been. After all, the Red Ribbon Corps is full of masters. Although Bulma has learned martial arts from Master Roshi for several years, since Lin Chen and Taisai got married, Bulma has lost interest in martial arts, and even her cultivation has begun to decline. Damn Red Ribbon Army! How dare they bully our family? Mom and Dad, you wait at home, I'm going to destroy the Red Ribbon Army now. Taisai said with clenched fists. Well. Tais, don't be impulsive. Yes, sister, although you seem to have become stronger, the opponent can't even deal with the regular army. Bulma and the others heard this and immediately shouted to dissuade him. If you don't deal with them, Bulma, do you want to be kidnapped every day? No, no way. Bulma said in surprise. Dr. Brief's mouth twitched and he said, it's possible. The Red Ribbon Army will do anything to achieve their goals. Sister. Defeat the Red Ribbon Army quickly. Bulma shouted immediately. Yes. Okay. Tais nodded, then walked over to Colonel Violet, who had not yet woken up. Hey! Stop playing dead! Tell me where the Red Ribbon Army's headquarters is. Violet raised her head and sneered at Tais, don't dream, I will never betray the organization. Tais didn't say much, but directly fired a key blast, blowing through the wall next to Violet. Seeing the hole on the side that was bigger than her body, Violet shuddered and said, I say. Please forgive me, I know I was wrong. Red Ribbon Army Headquarters. The Red Ribbon Army, which was once so powerful on Earth and frightened countless people, received bad news one after another today. First, Colonel Silver's search team was defeated and the Dragon Ball was stolen. Soon after, Masruta in the north was also captured. When the photo of the enemy taking over Masruta was sent to him, the Red Marshal was furious, a little brat. Did our proud Red Ribbon Army lose to a little brat? It's unbelievable. Red Marshal's deputy, Black Adjutant, was also surprised. But before they could come to their senses, another piece of bad news came. Colonel Violet, who went to kidnap Dr. Brief, was also completely wiped out. Chapter 78. What? After a brief moment of daze, Red Marshal suddenly became furious. That loser Violet. Pass on my order and call all the elite members to the headquarters immediately. And the killer Tao Bibai. I want to let those who dare to resist us know that the Red Ribbon Army is invincible. Yes. For a moment, the Red Ribbon Army was operating at full capacity. The mobilization capabilities of an organization that can rival the world government are naturally extraordinary. Soon, several generals of the Red Ribbon Army scattered around the world and the world's top killer Tao Bibai all gathered at the headquarters. Humph! You're just making a mountain out of a molehill. When Tao Bibai heard that the Red Ribbon Army's commission was to deal with a wild boy and kidnap Dr. Brief from the Universal Capsule Company, he looked disdainful. Forget it, it's up to you, but I won't discount the reward. Of course. Red Marshal nodded. Although Tao Bibai is only his last trump card, he will not save money just in case. Except for Tao Bibai, the other generals also took a relaxed attitude towards this mission. In their opinion, how difficult could it be for the Red Ribbon Army, the best army in the world, to deal with a little devil and a doctor? However, these people probably didn't expect that at the same time they gathered together, a figure finally flew to the vicinity of the Red Ribbon Legion headquarters. Is this the headquarters of the Red Ribbon Army? The person who came was Thais. Although Thais has learned instant transmission now, her perception of chi is still not mature. Apart from the breath of familiar people, she finds it difficult to distinguish the breath of strangers. So this time, she didn't use instant transmission, but flew directly over. As soon as Thais approached, the Red Ribbon Army's reconnaissance aircraft discovered her trail. But the people on the reconnaissance plane were all stunned when they saw Thais flying. There's someone flying in the sky. Oh my god, notify the headquarters immediately. These reconnaissance planes were easily shot down by Thais as soon as they sent messages to their subordinates. The sound of the plane exploding in midair was immediately heard below. One of the reconnaissance planes even crashed directly onto the Red Ribbon headquarters base. The violent explosion shook everyone in the room. What's going on? What's going on outside? Marshal Red asked angrily. Marshal. Enemy attack. We are under attack, a non-commissioned officer replied. What? Who dares to attack our Red Ribbon Army? At this moment, a woman's voice suddenly rang out throughout the Red Ribbon base. Red Ribbon Army. Do you think you can mess with our brief family? Boom boom boom. Key blast fell from the sky like a cannonball and landed in the Red Ribbon base, destroying most of the base in an instant. Before everyone, including Red Marshal, could react, the place where they were was engulfed by the explosion, leaving them with no time to react. Seeing the Red Ribbon base under her feet turned into ruins, Thais breathed a sigh of relief. Although her combat power now exceeded 10,000 and she was probably the strongest person on Earth in terms of absolute strength, this was also her first time killing someone. However, Thais's mentality soon calmed down. After all, the people she killed this time were all unforgivable villains. It's all Lin Chen's fault. It seems that after being with him, my temper has become a little like Saiyans. After Thais complained, she went back directly via instant transmission. Little did they know that because of Thais's interference, the Red Ribbon Army, who were supposed to have a story with Son Goku, had to leave the stage early. After Thais left, an unknown amount of time passed before an old man came to the Red Ribbon Legion base, which had become a ruin. Nightmare. Is this a nightmare? Our Red Ribbon Army was wiped out in an instant? Who on earth did this? Who did this? At this moment, the old man suddenly saw a photo held in the hands of a corpse among the ruins. The person in the photo is Son Goku who defeated Masruda. Is it this brat? Unforgivable. Gro, swear that I will use these hands to avenge the Red Ribbon Army. Help! Suddenly, a broken hand emerged from the ruins. Dr. Gero turned his head and his eyes widened immediately. You? Humph! You came just in time. If it were you, you would definitely not make a failed work. On the other side, under Karin Tower, Son Goku came here while tracking the whereabouts of Dragon Ball and unexpectedly met the Bola family. Not only did he find his grandfather's 4-star planet, but he also learned that the towering tower next to him was actually the Karin Tower that Bulma had mentioned. Kalin Tower? I once heard from a friend that there seemed to be an immortal on the tower. That's right. Legend has it that if you can climb up the tower by your own strength and drink the holy water given by the immortal, your power will increase greatly. Great! This is really the place. Son Goku felt excited when he thought of the immortal on the tower that Bulma had once told him about, and the temple of the gods higher up in Karin Tower. He immediately jumped onto the tower and began to climb towards the top of Karin Tower. Although it is different from the original story, Goku still has an intersection with Karin-sama of Karin Tower. In the future, it is possible that he will get permission from Karin-sama to go to the higher heavenly temple. Ding! Confirmed that history has been corrected. Congratulations to the host for obtaining one time point. On the distant planet Vegeta, Lin Chen is conducting meditation training with Han Asia. This is the fantasy exercise that Ricklin and Gohan once performed on the way to Namek in the original work. The two practiced against each other in meditation. Although in the original story, this training method was only a training method that Krillin and Gohan had to carry out because they were forced to do so, but in fact this method can exercise mental strength. Therefore, Lin Chen used it as a training method to hone his spirit. He was practicing well when he suddenly heard a prompt from the system. What's going on? Pie in the sky? It's inexplicable, how did I get some time points? System? What's going on? Ding! Because of the influence of people who are connected to the host, history has been corrected, and time points can also be obtained. Someone I'm connected to? Who? What did he do? Lin Chen's doubts were not explained until Tai's instant transmission came from Earth not long after. Knowing that the plot was messed up by Tai's manipulation, but finally got back on track, Lin Chen had to admire the power of history too. Correct. Chapter 79. Vegeta Planet. Since Taisai also came, Lin Chen accompanied her on a tour of Vegeta and several surrounding planets, and then asked Han Asia to accompany Taisai, who had just mastered instant transmission, on an adventure in the universe. He himself started practicing again. After a period of meditation practice, Lin Chen felt that his mental strength had improved a lot compared to the past. The effect of this practice was still very significant. Therefore, Lin Chen prepared to focus on his cultivation and make a breakthrough for a period of time. Coincidentally, on Earth, Goku and his friends' adventure has come to an end. The next big plot will be the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament 3 years later. I heard that Goku went to Karin Tower. Although there are some missing plots, it shouldn't affect Goku's strength. After thinking about things on Earth, Lin Chen focused his attention on his current cultivation. Mental training is a very stressful type of training, and unlike physical training, where you can't just eat a magic bean when you are injured or tired, after mental training, you can only rely on the passage of time to relax your mind and recover. There is no other way. But to be honest, it's not completely without a solution. In fact, when it comes to mental power, there is something that can play a similar role to senzu beans and allow mental power to recover quickly. This thing is the fruit of the spirit tree. Lin Chen has verified this using the last few spirit tree fruits in his system space. Although these spirit tree fruits cannot improve Lin Chen's strength much now. However, this fruit is a holy tonic for spiritual strength. Just one bite can instantly restore the exhausted mental strength. Alas, if I had known this thing was so useful, I shouldn't have destroyed the spirit tree directly. Lin Chen scratched his head, feeling somewhat regretful for his initial impulsiveness. Do you want to go find Shenron someday and ask it to give you some spirit tree fruit? While thinking, Lin Chen walked towards the meeting room. During these days, as a way to relax his mind, after each training session, he would go to the council hall to watch King Vegeta and Paragus handle government affairs. While relaxing, he would also put forward some of his own opinions and experience the feeling of being a king. However, before he could leave the palace, he saw King Vegeta and Paragus and his party coming to his palace on their own initiative, as if they had something to discuss with him. Your Majesty Lynx. This thing you left behind suddenly lit up. Maybe something happened to Namek. King Vegeta took out a green crystal ball that looked like the Dragon Ball. Lin Chen took a look and recognized the crystal ball. It was the one that Namek had given him when he left last time. At that time, the Namek people once told themselves that this was the contact ball they created by wishing with Shenron. There are 2 contact balls in total, and you can use them to contact anyone in the universe. As long as the contact ball emits light, it means that Namek is in crisis and Lin Chen needs to go over to help immediately. When Lin Chen went to the parallel universe, he handed the contact ball to King Vegeta and others and asked them to take care of it. After taking the crystal ball, Lin Chen discovered that the crystal ball was emitting a faint blue light at a fixed rhythm. Something happened to Namek? King Vegeta, I'm going to Namek to check it out. After giving some instructions, Lin Chen immediately used instant transmission. Namek, that was the starting point of everything. It was thanks to the development of the Great Elder's potential that Lin Chen had the initial capital to compete with King Vegeta for the throne. Therefore, Lin Chen has always respected the Namek people. However, when Lin Chen hurried to Namek, he found that things did not seem to be as he thought. Before instant transmission, Lin Chen thought that Namek might have been invaded by foreign enemies. But when he came over, he found that everything here was still as peaceful as before. There is no smoke or gunfire on the planet, nor can any evil aura be sensed. What's going on? With doubts, Lin Chen used instant transmission again and came to the home of Great Elder Namek. Here too there were no signs of fighting. Strange thing. Just as Lin Chen was about to land, the Great Elder's house opened, and Nier walked out and bowed to Lin Chen in the sky. Mr. Lin Chen, the Great Elder has been waiting for a long time. Mr. Nilu, what's going on? Isn't there an invasion by foreign enemies? Namek is fine. This time, it was the Great Elder who wanted to ask for Sir's help with some personal matters. Private matter. The Great Elder will tell you in detail. Lin Chen did not ask any more questions, but followed Neilu to the home of the Great Elder. Long time no see, Great Elder. After not seeing him for several years, the Great Elder looked much older. In fact, Lin Chen, who was familiar with the plot, also knew that the Great Elder's life was indeed coming to an end. Long time no see, Mr. Lin Chen. You are stronger than before. The Great Elder opened his eyes slightly, then closed them again. Lin Chen asked, Great Elder, you suddenly contacted me this time. Is there something going on? I just heard from Neilu that you have a private matter that you want my help with. That's right. This time I went to find Mr. Lin Chen because I hoped he could help me deal with someone, a Namek. Namek people? Lin Chen asked in surprise. Mr. Lin Chen. The Great Elder sighed softly. In fact, not long ago, a strange yet familiar visitor came to Namek. That visitor is the Namek I want you to deal with. A purely evil Namek. Evil Namek. Lin Chen was slightly stunned, and a name suddenly popped up in his mind. Speaking of the purely evil Namek people, as far as he could remember, besides Piccolo Daimao who was still sealed on Earth, there was only one person left. Super Namek. Slug. The Great Elder was slightly surprised. Mr. Lin Chen also knows him? Yes, after all, Slag was one of the overlords who once fought with the Frozen Demon clan for the hegemony of the universe. It is normal that you have heard of him. Is that really Slug? Lin Chen pondered for a moment, recalling the information about this guy in his mind. Slug is a character in the Dragon Ball movie. Like the gods on Earth, he is a Namek who was sent to an alien planet to escape during the Namek disaster. But unlike the gods, Slug's evil heart is stronger and purer. He is a super Namek with an evil heart. Chapter 80. Mr. Lin Chen, after Slag arrived a few days ago, he forcibly seized Namek's Dragon Ball and summoned Shenron Porunga. Through Porunga, Slag granted 3 wishes. The first wish restored his youth. The second wish allowed him to have a much longer life than before. The third wish gave Slug a near-immortal recovery ability. As long as the core of his brain is still there, he can restore his body indefinitely. After hearing the explanation from the Great Elder, Lin Chen frowned, his heart full of doubts. Great Elder, when Slug attacked, why didn't you call me or Vegeta? How did you let him take the Dragon Ball? Lin Chen had promised the Great Elder that he would protect Namek. If they sought rescue at that time, even if Lin Chen was not there, the people on Vegeta would come to support them. I heard from the Great Elder that Slug should have been old and frail by then, so even if he was a super Namek, there would be nothing to be afraid of. So why did they just endure it in silence and not contact him until everyone's wish was fulfilled? Lin Chen just felt it was a little unbelievable. The Great Elder fell silent after being asked by Lin Chen. After a moment, he suddenly said to Neilu, Neilu, I want to talk to Lin Chen alone about the next words. Please leave first. Yes. Nilo left obediently. The Great Elder then spoke, Mr. Lin Chen, when Slag came, I told Nilo and the others not to ask you for help, and I was also the one who asked the elders to give the Dragon Ball to Slag. What? Great Elder, why are you doing this? Lin Chen was completely confused. The Great Elder sighed and said, Mr. Lin Chen, to be honest, Slag is actually my child. Ah. Back then Namek suffered a natural disaster. In order to continue the survival of the race, many Nameks, who were as intelligent as me, gave birth to children who condensed all our essences and sent them into outer space in the hope of preserving the Namek bloodline. The gods on your planet and Slag are all such children. It's a pity that only a few of these children can survive in the end. Slug escaped to a planet called Slug. I sent him there because I saw that the people on that planet were not very strong. Even if he was a child, Slug could survive. But unfortunately, I forgot one thing. That is that the planet Slug is actually a planet where the strong prey on the weak. The evil thoughts on that planet turned Slug into a purely evil Namek. The Great Elder said this and heaved a long sigh. Lin Chen clasped his arms and listened quietly to this unknown past event. Slag is a planet that never sees sunlight all year round. The sky above the planet is always covered by thick clouds. Therefore, the resources on the planet are very scarce. In order to survive, the creatures on the planet have to kill each other all day long. Young Nameks are like a blank sheet of paper, easily influenced by the outside environment. It was at that time that Slug was tainted with too much evil, and thus became the pure evil Namek he is today. Lin Chen deeply agreed with the words of the Great Elder, because wasn't it because the gods on Earth were contaminated by the evil thoughts of the Earthlings that the clone Piccolo Daimao was born? Obviously, Slug encountered much more evil thoughts than the gods, so he became a purely evil Namek, unlike the gods on Earth, who were able to retain their good thoughts through their clones in the end. Hearing this, Lin Chen said, "Great Elder, are you letting Slug use the Dragon Ball because you feel guilty?" The Elder sighed and said, "That's right. When Slug came to the planet and asked for the Dragon Ball, I recognized him immediately. At that time, in order to make Slug change, I told him about his life experience, hoping that he could turn over a new leaf." After hearing this, Slug proposed that if he wanted to turn over a new leaf, he must be given the Dragon Ball. "But I didn't expect that the evil thoughts in Slug's heart were too strong. You are too naive." Lin Chen muttered in his heart. He didn't expect that even the Great Elder who was known as the wisest would act foolishly when faced with family affection. After regaining his youth, Slug left without harming the Namek people. But not long after, I heard that he began to reorganize his forces. Many planets have been attacked by him. Because of me, Slag became even more powerful. The deaths of those people were all my fault. So Mr. Lin Chen, please find Slag and stop him from doing evil." Against Slug? Lin Chen pondered for a moment. According to what was shown in the Dragon Ball theatrical version, Slug, as a Super Namek, is said to be even more powerful than Frieza and the Super Saiyan. Of course, in the end of the play, his performance was just like that. But this is a different real world from the original novel after all, so it is hard to say how strong Slug is. Ding! Congratulations to the host, triggering the strongest choice. Choice 1, reject the Great Elder, reward, 1 time point. Choice 2, agree to the Great Elder, find Zuno to confirm Slug's location, and kill him quickly. Reward, Namek's regenerative ability. Choice 3, find Slug without any external force, capture him alive and bring him back to Namek. Reward, introduction to superpowers, elementary telekinesis. Seeing the selection system triggered again, Lin Chen was slightly stunned. Reject the Great Elder in exchange for 1 time point. Lin Chen didn't even have to think about this choice. But he had to consider the next 2 options. The 2 options can be seen from the literal meaning, one is a quick decision, and the other is time-consuming and laborious. But the rewards corresponding to the 2 choices are both interesting. Needless to say, the Namek people's regenerative ability is second only to that of the demons. If Lin Chen can possess it, coupled with his super physique, the final effect will probably be no weaker than Cell's regenerative ability. As for superpowers, Lin Chen thought about it and quickly understood it. In the Dragon Ball world, there are actually 4 powers. One is pure physical strength, or fleshly strength. Punching and kicking all rely on this kind of force. One is the power of Chi Ki Blast, and energy bombs all use this power. Both of these can be considered physical attack forces. There are 2 other forces that involve the spiritual level. One power is magic, which Majin Buu and Magician Babadai are very good at. The second power is superpowers. In the plot of Dragon Ball, Dumpling is the representative of superpowers, and Frieza seems to have superpowers as well. In the original book, he used a superpower to kill Krillin. Chapter 81. For Lin Chen, although the Namek people have good regenerative abilities, they only make his physical strength even better. On the contrary, it is the superpower, the power that relies on mental strength, that can make up for Lin Chen's current shortcomings. In fact, the Saiyan clan has always had a weakness in spiritual power. Their transformation system simply enhances strength but does not enhance the spirit at all. If it was an ordinary Saiyan like Son Goku Vegeta, the lack of mental strength might not be a big deal, but it was not the case for Lin Chen. Just being a legendary Super Saiyan 2 form puts severe demands on his mental strength. If Lin Chen wants to go further in the future, he must find a way to constantly hone his mental strength. Therefore, Lin Chen must not miss this superpower reward. Thinking of this, Lin Chen immediately made the final choice. System, I choose 3. Ding! Host selection confirmed, please complete the task as soon as possible. At this point, Lin Chen immediately said to the Great Elder, Great Elder, I agree to your request. Leave Slag to me. The Great Elder reminded, Mr. Lin Chen, Slag is very powerful. He is a combat-type Namek. I know you can become a Super Saiyan, but I am afraid that he is now difficult to deal with even as a Super Saiyan. And because of the power of the Dragon Ball, Slug now has extremely strong recovery abilities. Mr. Lin Chen, you must be careful. I'll be careful. Lin Chen smiled slightly, Great Elder, do you know the whereabouts of Slag now? Slag transformed a planet into a spaceship, and his whereabouts are erratic. The last time I heard about him, I heard that he was looking for something. Looking for something? Okay, I'll ask someone to look for it. Lin Chen nodded. Due to the limitations of the mission, the search for Slag cannot rely on external forces such as Zuno and Shenron, so Lin Chen has made long-term preparations. After returning to Planet Vegeta, Lin Chen immediately gave instructions, asking Saiyan to inquire about Slag's whereabouts. Even the Galactic Patrol received Lin Chen's commission. At the same time, information about Slag continued to flow in. According to information from the Galactic Patrol, as a teenager, Slug used his naturally high fighting ability to defeat all the masters on the Slug planet, and proclaimed himself king, calling himself a demon. Gradually he gathered many subordinates under his command, and began to run rampant across the universe, committing all kinds of evil. In his heyday, Slug was once a universe villain as famous as the Frozen Demon. However, as he grew older, Slag's power gradually shrank, and we have rarely heard news about him recently. However, according to investigation, the activities of Slag and his gang have indeed become more frequent recently. 3 planets have already been attacked by Slug and his gang. What's strange is that after being attacked, these 3 planets disappeared directly into their galaxies. Judging from the fact that each of these 3 planets is larger than the last, the Galactic Patrol suspects that Slug might be replacing his planetary spaceship. Those 3 planets should have been transformed into universe spacecraft. After hearing the report, Lin Chen asked, "What about their whereabouts?" "We have already sent people to track them down, but Your Majesty Links, the universe is too vast. It will probably take us a long time to find Slug and his gang unless they launch another attack. Take your time." Lin Chen also knew that there was no time to rush, so he did not force himself to find Slag's whereabouts immediately. Anyway, there is no time limit for this mission, so he can practice while waiting slowly. At the same time, in a certain corner of the universe, a planet covered by thick clouds is flying in the universe at an astonishing speed. This planet is the planetary spaceship that was transformed by Slag and his gang. Inside a palace on the surface of the planet, Slag, whom Lin Chen was looking for, was listening to the report from his subordinates. "King Slag, our destination is another week away." A tall Namek on the palace throne nodded. This Namek was Slag. Compared to Piccolo, Slag is more muscular. He has regained his youthfulness and his body is filled with pure energy. Below Slag were several of his right-hand men. Some of these people are natives of the planet Slag, and they joined Slag because they followed him. Some of them are demon subordinates born to Slug himself. Most of them were wearing costumes of the Demon Clan or Slug Star, except for a short, purple-skinned universe man who was wearing the combat uniform of the Frieza Corps, making him stand out in the crowd. After hearing the report from the subordinate, one of them said to the man in combat uniform, "Le Kaiselu, Tol's treasure should be on this planet, right?" Upon hearing this, the universe man named Le Kaisel said with a big smile on his face, "Lord Dorotapo, I can't guarantee this. Tol's doesn't trust anyone. Only he knows the true location of the treasure, so we can only look for it one by one." "Search one by one? Wouldn't that take a lot of time?" The demon warrior named Dorotabo immediately said dissatisfiedly. But at this moment, Slag on the throne suddenly laughed loudly, "Time? Hehe, I don't lack time now, Dorotapo, we don't need to rush." "Yes, Your Majesty." Dorotapo immediately lowered his head. "But, Lakasal, although I have plenty of time, I can't waste it casually. If in the end, we can't find Tol's treasure, or if that thing is not in Tol's treasure, you know the consequences. Please rest assured, my king. The seeds of the spirit tree must be in Tol's treasure. This news can't be wrong. Please rest assured, my king." Slag snorted coldly, and his dark eyes turned to the screen, but his thoughts turned to the spirit tree he had just mentioned. As revealed in the conversation between the two just now, this universe man named Le Kaisel was once a subordinate of Saiyan Tol's. Although Tol's and his main army were destroyed on Planet Vegeta, there are still some of Tol's men left in other parts of the universe. After learning that Tol's was dead, these people fled in all directions, but this guy named Lakaselu defected to Slag and brought a piece of news that made Slag extremely concerned. In the past, in order to prevent the planting of the spirit tree from being counterattacked by the indigenous people and resulting in failure, Tol's once kept another spirit tree seed as a backup. In addition to the seed, Tulls also kept some of the fruits of the spirit tree that he had harvested in the past in case of emergency. These things were stored together and were called Tull's secret treasure by Tull's remaining subordinates. And Lake Salo just happened to have clues about its whereabouts. Chapter 82. Slag had also heard of the fruit of the spirit tree. It is a fruit of life that is condensed after absorbing the essence of the planet. After eating it, you can absorb the life essence of the entire planet. In addition to prolonging life, it can also greatly improve your strength. Although Slag no longer pursues longevity, he still desires to improve his strength. After all, Slag has not forgotten the humiliation brought upon him by the Frozen Demon clan after he grew old and his strength declined. When Slug was young, he had few rivals in the Northern Galaxy and was a well-known vicious emperor in the universe. But after encountering the Ice Demon clan, Slag was severely damaged. The strength of the Ice Demon clan is not much inferior to that of the Super Namek people. More importantly, the Ice Demon clan has a long lifespan. Hundreds of years passed, when Slag had grown old and his fighting power had declined. His former opponent, the Kurdish king, was still in his prime and had given birth to 2 children who were equally powerful. So in the end, all the territories that Slag had conquered after years of fighting had to be swallowed up by the Frozen Demon clan. In the end, he was even forced to huddle on the planet Slag, where he made his fortune. This is the shame of Slag's life. Now that Slag has recovered his strength, he is naturally ready to seek revenge on the Frozen Demon clan. But he heard that Frieza, the genius among the Ice Demon clan, had been killed by a Saiyan. When Slag heard the news, he suddenly felt that there was always someone better. Although he was confident that he could deal with Frieza now, Slug finally decided to find the fruit of the spirit tree first and increase his strength. In the blink of an eye, 3 years passed. During these 3 years, Lin Chen had inquired about Slag's whereabouts more than once. Unfortunately, because the other party seemed to be pursuing something, he would not stay in a certain place for too long each time. This made Lin Chen come up empty-handed every time. Fortunately, there is no deadline to deal with Slag, so Lin Chen is not in a hurry. He practiced steadily while quietly waiting for his opportunity. And at this moment, on Earth, the world's #1 martial arts tournament, which had been absent for 3 years, was about to begin again. Last time, because of Hanasha's mistake, Lin Chen missed the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament. This time he doesn't intend to miss it. After arranging many matters early, Lin Chen returned to Earth with his 2 wives to watch this year's #1 martial arts tournament in the world. The Burdocks were also invited to join them. I must take a good look this time. Hanaxia and the others were a little surprised by Lin Chen's excitement. It would be easy to explain if it was the Burdocks. After all, they could see their son again, but what was there for Lin Chen to be excited about? How interesting can a fight between a group of people whose combat power is not even 1000 be? Hanaxia and the others naturally didn't know what the world's #1 martial arts competition meant to Lin Chen. This is a feeling. If he wasn't really too ashamed to bully the weak, Lin Chen would have wanted to participate in a martial arts competition in person. However, what Lin Chen didn't know was that at the same time he was heading to Earth, in a corner of the Milky Way, there was a dead planet. King Slug. We found it. Tull's secret treasure is on this planet. After hearing a report from a universe person, Slag stood up excitedly. Very good. Where are the fruits and seeds of the spirit tree? We've found it. In addition to a seed, there are also 20 spirit tree fruits. Here you go. Slag sat down on the golden armchair and said excitedly, quick, bring all the things back to me immediately. Also, check the star map immediately to find the planets nearby that are suitable for planting spirit trees. I want to plant spirit trees immediately. My lord, the nearest planet is only 1 week away from us. If we go at full speed, we may be able to arrive in 3 days. But that planet seems to be under the jurisdiction of the Galactic Patrol. After careful calculation, the subordinate answered truthfully. Galactic Patrol? When did I, Slug, become afraid of those losers? Set up a route immediately. I want to plant new spirit tree fruits as soon as possible. Slag's voice was low and unquestionable. Upon hearing this, the men below immediately stood at attention and shouted in unison, yes. Seeing this, Slag laughed crazily, ha ha ha, wait until I eat these fruits of the spirit tree, the Frozen Demon clan, Saiyan, I will let you know who the real emperor of the universe is. Papaya Island, the venue for the world's #1 martial arts tournament. Because of the exciting duel between Son Goku and Master Buten at the last martial arts tournament, the popularity of the world's #1 martial arts tournament has suddenly increased a lot, and many martial artists have signed up for this competition. Even Master Roshi's mortal enemy, Tsuru Sennin, had his two most trusted disciples, Tian Jinfan, names changed to avoid censorship, and Jiaozi, sign up for the competition this time. Therefore, this competition was unprecedented. At least that's what it seems to the people on Earth. But for Lin Chen and his group who came to watch the game, the so-called grand occasion was unprecedented, but the level of most of the contestants was not even as good as that of a newborn Saiyan baby. My dear, I don't know why you want to watch a game of this level so much. Hanasia stretched and said. Lin Chen glanced at her and said unhappily, if you don't want to watch, just go back to Vegeta Star first. That won't do. I finally got to Earth once, and I'm looking forward to eating something delicious soon. Compared to Hanasia's calmness, the Burdocks were a little more reserved. Especially the casual clothes they both wore made them feel very uncomfortable. Your Majesty, do we really have to dress like this? And this hat is so troublesome. Burdock pressed down the white hat on his head that was pushed up by his hair from time to time, and put down the mask on his face. If you don't dress like this, Kakarot will recognize you at a glance. It's because you and your son look exactly alike. Lin Chen said. Are you planning to recognize your father and son today? Of course not. Well, that's what we have to do. Burdock said with difficulty. Rather than disturbing his son's training on Earth, he had no choice but to endure it. Lin Chen, I heard Bulma is here too. Should we go with them to see it? Taisai said. Okay. Then, outside the qualifying venue, Lin Chen and his group met Bulma and the others. Also traveling with us were Oolong and Puer, whom I had met before, and Lan Chi, whom I met for the first time. When Bulma saw Lin Chen and Taisai walking towards them, her expression suddenly changed. Bulma, long time no see. Lin Chen stepped forward and greeted her. Brother Lin Chen, hello. Bulma's mouth twitched a few times, she lowered her head, and her voice became softer. Ah. It's that what? That's right. Saiyan. Oolong and Puer were also surprised. Chapter 83. Ever since Lin Chen and Taisai got married, Bulma has kept her distance from him. Even though the two families' homes on Earth were only separated by a street, Bulma was rarely seen visiting. Lin Chen saw all of this and could only shake his head and sigh. It was not that he did not understand the little girl's thoughts, but Bulma's future did not belong to her. Half a day later, the martial arts tournament preliminaries at the preliminary arena were drawing to a close, and the final 8 players who qualified for the preliminary round were Son Goku, Krillin, Tianjin Fan, Jiaozi, Oolong, Yamcha, Renlin, and Baptiste. There is basically no difference from the original. The official competition will be held in the open-air martial arts arena in the afternoon. Then it will be lunchtime. Goku and his friends will reunite with Bulma and others. Lin Chen also took the opportunity to meet and say hello to Goku and his friends. Brother Lin Chen. Long time no see. Son Goku was extremely excited to see Lin Chen, a smile of reunion appeared on his face. Yamcha had seen how powerful Lin Chen was, so he bowed to him respectfully. As for Master Roshi, when he saw Lin Chen again, he was as nervous as a mouse seeing a cat. Only Krillin was still confused and didn't know who Lin Chen was. Goku, who is he? Why do you all look so scared? Krillin, this man is an extremely powerful man. Even 10 Master Roshi are no match for him. Yamcha said quietly. Although Master Roshi was very dissatisfied with this, he did not refute it. Krillin was frightened when he heard this. After greeting each other, everyone had a meal together. However, Mr. and Mrs. Burdock did not join the group because they were afraid of being recognized by Goku. In the afternoon, the final round of the martial arts tournament was held as scheduled. The process of the competition was the same as the original, with only slight differences. Tianjin Fan, who could have easily made it to the finals, ran into trouble from the first round against Yamcha. Because of Lin Chen's appearance, Yamcha made up his mind to become stronger early on and went to Turtle House to practice much earlier than in the original book. Therefore, his combat power at this time has reached 160. And his opponent, Tianjin Fan, is only 180. As the first game of the finals, the duel between the two was played at the level of the finals from the very beginning. In the end, after a hard fight, Tianjin Fan defeated Yamcha with a wide variety of moves. But it also caused him to lose a lot of strength. Seeing this result, Lin Chen couldn't help but touch his chin. It seems that because of my appearance, the strength of Goku and the people around him has improved compared to the original work. As for Goku, it seemed that he was stimulated by himself and actually had a combat power of 200, which was 20 points higher than in the original work. Originally in the original work, the final champion of this Tenkaichi martial arts tournament was Tianjing Fan, but now, I'm afraid Goku will have to win his first Tenkaichi martial arts tournament championship in advance. Just when Lin Chen was watching with great interest, suddenly, Taisai next to him tugged at Lin Chen's clothes, with a mobile phone in her hand. Lin Chen, something seems to have happened at home. Taisai shouted in Lin Chen's ear. Home? Dr. Briefs. Yes. Dad asked us to go back quickly. He said a man named Tao Bibai is here. Tao Bibai? Lin Chen's eyes narrowed. Wasn't this Tao Bibai beaten to death by Taisai? Even if he didn't die, according to the plot of the original work, Tao Peibai came out again after mechanized transformation, and it was during the 23rd martial arts tournament. How come you are at Dr. Brief's house now? Damn it! I haven't even watched the final yet. Lin Chen said unwillingly. It's so hard to get a chance to watch the martial arts competition, why can't these people just wait for him to finish watching the game before causing trouble? Lin Chen, why don't I go back by myself? Taisai said when she saw this. Anyway, she also knows instant transmission, and Tais doesn't think that anyone on Earth today can threaten her. But Lin Chen was worried. Tao Bibai's appearance was at the wrong time, and he felt that there might be something wrong here. Let's go together. Lin Chen, are we leaving? Hanasia couldn't help but wonder when she saw Lin Chen was about to leave. Although she always said that this kind of competition was boring, after watching a few games, she still found the fun in it and gradually became involved in it. Something happened at Tai's home. We want to go over and take a look. Why don't you stay here? Lin Chen asked. Taisai quickly shook her head and held Lin Chen tightly. Lin Chen smiled, said hello to the Burdocks and Bulma from a distance, and left via instant transmission. The sudden disappearance of the three people caused a commotion at the scene. Hey? That Saiyan left? Bulma, do you know what happened? The finals are about to start. Seeing that Lin Chen and the others had disappeared, Wulong was surprised. Bulma was also full of questions and didn't know what was going on. Because of Lin Chen's sudden disappearance, there was a sudden commotion at the martial arts competition, but soon with the start of the finals, everyone's attention was turned back to the competition stage. Because of Yamcha's sniping, and the fact that Goku is much stronger than in the original, this final is indeed different from the original. Son Goku finally won the championship very easily, and Tianjing Fan and Jiaozi also turned over a new leaf under the guidance of Master Roshi. While Goku was jumping excitedly on the stage, on the other side, Zidu. Lin Chen, who returned to Dr. Brief's house through instant transmission, looked at the figure who appeared in Dr. Brief's house with an expression of disbelief. Although the clothes and appearance had changed slightly, the person who appeared in Dr. Brief's house was indeed the killer Tao Bibai in Lin Chen's impression. But didn't Tao Bibai die when the Red Ribbon Army was destroyed? Even if he didn't die, he should have been blown to pieces. If he came back, he should be a cyborg, right? Why is Tao Bibai now completely human? Lin Chen suddenly frowned, noticing something was wrong. Dad. Taisai ran all the way to Dr. Brief and his wife, asked with concern, and after confirming that they were okay, she pointed at Tao Bibai and asked, Hey! Who are you? Why are you breaking into my house? Miss Tais, I finally see you, said the person who looked like Tao Bibai. It looked like he was coming for Tais. You know me? Who are you? Who am I? You don't even know me. Hey? Why should I know an old man like you? My previous name was Tao Bibai, and my current name is Android 11. Remember this name, because this is the person who will kill you. The former Tao Bibai, now Android 11, had a hint of coldness on his face. Chapter 84. Artificial Man? What is that? Tais looked confused. But Lin Chen's eyes had already widened. He finally understood why Tao Bibai, who should have been dead, appeared in front of them in his current appearance. It turns out that he was transformed into a cyborg. So, the person behind Tao Bibai's actions is about to be revealed. Hey! Dr. Gero! I know you must be watching us through him, right? Come out and speak. Lin Chen suddenly shouted. Hearing his words, Hanasia looked puzzled, while Dr. Brief's eyes widened. Dr. Gero? Lin Chen, you said he was Dr. Gero? I've seen him before, he doesn't look like this. No, he is not Dr. Gero. The person in front of us is just a man-made man created by Dr. Gero. But Dr. Gero should be looking at us through his eyes. Isn't that right? Dr. Gero. Tao Bibai's eyes suddenly emitted a red light, and a moment later, an old voice that was completely different from Tao Bibai's voice sounded from Tao Bibai's mouth. Boy, you actually know about me and the androids? That's right. I am Dr. Gero. The highest-ranking scientist in the Red Ribbon Army back then. Dr. Brief looked incredulous. Dr. Gero? You actually joined the Red Ribbon Army? That's right. No one in this world supports my research. Only the Red Ribbon Army has been providing me with sufficient funds and research materials. With them, I can continue to carry out my long-cherished wish. But all this was destroyed 3 years ago. And the murderer who caused all this was your daughter, Dr. Brief. Me? Tai Sai was stunned. What does it have to do with me? What? You don't remember? Although Tao Bibai had a cold expression on his face, one could tell from what he said that Dr. Gero in the distance was probably furious at this moment. How dare you forget? Damn it! I have been thinking about revenge every day. In order to defeat you, I have been collecting information about you. And then I have been studying day and night. What is standing in front of you now is my latest masterpiece. Android 11. Now, the preparations for revenge are complete. After killing you, I will kill that kid called Son Goku, and then use this android to rule the world and rebuild the Red Ribbon Army. This is my revenge. Ha! Just when Dr. Gero was speaking with great excitement, Hanasia beside him yawned at an inopportune time. Tais, how long are you going to listen to this guy's nonsense? Get rid of him quickly. That's true. Tai Sai put her hands on her hips and said, Dr. Gero, I'm very strong. I'm afraid your android will be scrapped soon. Indeed, your strength is so strong that it doesn't seem like a human's. Although you have never shown your strength in front of the world, I know that compared to you, those martial artists are a joke. Compared to the novels you wrote, your strength is even more amazing. Hey, hey! What's wrong with my novel? I'm a best-selling novelist now. Tais shouted. But Dr. Gero ignored her and said to himself, but you will be amazed in a moment. My Android 11 is much stronger than you. Hey? Just him? How can a guy whose breath can't even be sensed have any power? Tais said with disdain. You'll know once you see it. Number 11, go ahead and kill Tais, and then kill the others to bury her with you. Yes, Dr. Gero. Android 11 uttered his own voice again and raised his hands, making the starting stance that Tao Pai Pai often used in the past. Tai Sai looked relaxed and prepared to fight. But at this moment, Lin Chen suddenly shouted, Tai Sai! Be careful! Homunculi have no breath. This guy might really be stronger than you. Ah! Tais was stunned. At this moment, number 11 rushed forward and kicked Tais into the sky, breaking through the roof and flying out. Tais! Drive and Mrs. Brief were immediately shocked. It's okay Dr. Hannah, and I will keep an eye on Tais. After Lin Chen finished speaking, he flew off the roof with Hannah. In the sky, Android 11 and Tais were already fighting. But it seemed that Tais was at a complete disadvantage. Number 11 blocked all of Tais' attacks with just one hand. What's going on? Tais' combat power should be more than 10,000. Why can't she beat this guy whose breath I can't even sense? Hanasia asked curiously. Artificial humans don't have breath. They rely on body energy. As Lin Chen spoke, he took out the combat power detector. Unlike using key sense to sense the strength of breath, the combat power detector does not sense breath, but directly senses energy, so Lin Chen feels that this thing should be useful when facing androids. Sure enough, when the combat power detector was aimed at number 11, a reading appeared on the display screen. 120,000. Lin Chen couldn't help but be stunned. This Dr. Gero is simply a monster. You have to know that No 11's original body, Tao Peibei, had a combat power of only over 100 when he was alive. What means did he use to increase Tao Peibei's combat power to 120,000? This power is already much stronger than some powerful races in the universe. Even in the period of Frieza in the original work, he can still be considered a top-level combat force. We have just reached the storyline of Piccolo Daimao, and Dr. Gero has created such a monster. No wonder, a dozen years in the future, he was able to create androids 17 and 18 that even surpassed the Super Saiyan. Just as Lin Chen was sighing, ties in the sky also stopped attacking, panting, feeling something was wrong. She had already used all her strength, but Android 11 on the opposite side actually blocked all her attacks with just one hand. Is the gap between two people really so big? Didn't Lin Chen say that he had been the strongest person on Earth for at least several years? How could this be? At this time, number 11 showed disdain on his face. Is that all? It's my turn now. Number 11 raised his right hand, put his index and middle fingers together, and prepared to poke Ties on the forehead. If this attack hits, given the difference in strength between them, Ties would probably be killed in one shot. But just as he was about to throw a punch, a hand suddenly grabbed him. Hey! Number 11 looked at Lin Chen in surprise, who suddenly appeared in front of him. You, when were you? Tais is my woman. If you want to bully him, have you asked me? Lin Chen exerted force and easily crushed Android 11's wrist into pieces. Chapter 85. My hand. Number 11 screamed, took a step back, and looked at Lin Chen angrily. How did you do that just now? Who are you? Me? I'm Taisai's husband, Lin Chen. Lin Chen. Thousands of miles away, Dr. Gerald looked through the monitor at Lin Chen, who was emitting a dangerous aura, and his body began to tremble unconsciously. He is Lin Chen? Tai's husband according to the intelligence? The surveillance robots never found him, I thought he was dead. Who the hell is this guy? How dare you, damage my body? Android 11 is a new type of android created by Dr. Gero using human body modification. It is not a pure robot created out of thin air, so he still retains some of Tao Peibei's emotions during his lifetime. Including Tao Bibai's past arrogant personality, which was also retained. For Tao Bibai, his body is what he is most proud of, especially this body, which was almost beaten to pieces because of ties. Later, with the help of Dr. Gero, he was given a strong and perfect body again. Therefore, Tao Bibai was extremely satisfied with this body and regarded it as a treasure. Now seeing his body damaged, number 11 immediately became furious. Calm down. Number 11. There's something strange about this kid. Dr. Gero had been monitoring the situation at the scene from a distance in his own research institute. When he found that No 11's various indexes were abnormal, he loudly reminded him. Unlike number 17 and number 18, Android 11 obeyed Drive Gero's words 100%. Hearing this, number 11 immediately regained his composure. Beep beep beep. There were a few strange noises coming out of No 11's head. Then, he grinned and sneered, no wonder you are so arrogant. Your energy index is even stronger than Tai's. I understand. You are the one who taught this woman Taisai how to cultivate, right? Lin Chen smiled and said, do you have an energy detector in your body? That's right. Your energy is indeed not weak, but unfortunately, my energy is much higher than yours. I just deliberately lowered my energy just to teach Tais a lesson. Now, I will let you feel what true terror is. Hearing the other party's words, Lin Chen sneered. Real horror? Okay, I'd like to see it for myself. Court death. Number 11 roared angrily and suddenly attacked Lin Chen. Every punch and kick he threw at her now would have killed her instantly if it had hit Tais just now. But unfortunately, number 11 is now facing Lin Chen, not Taisai. Result. A sound of breaking through the air suddenly sounded, and when number 11 came to his senses, Lin Chen's face was already very close to him. Dr. Gero, your technical ability is indeed impressive, but it is still far from reality. Lin Chen's cold voice reached No 11's ears, and then Lin Chen raised his hand and pinched No 11's neck. You. Number 11 is already an artificial human, so of course he wouldn't be unable to breathe due to having his neck pinched. But the problem is that number 11 finds that he can't break free from Lin Chen's palm. How is that possible? In the research institute, Dr. Gero's eyes widened. Number 11, what are you doing? Don't hold back your energy. Use all your strength. I. What do you mean by I? Dr. Gero, you know how vast the universe is. Although number 11 is indeed invincible on Earth, his strength is nothing compared to the strong people in the universe. To them, Crushing number 11 is as easy as crushing an ant. Universe. Could it be that? You are not from Earth. The voice of Dr. Gero suddenly came out of No 11's mouth. Correct. But there is no reward. Number 11 had cold sweat on his forehead. He could feel that Lin Chen's hands were gradually getting stronger. He was afraid that soon his neck would be crushed into pieces just like his wrists were before. At this moment, even though he had become a cyborg, he couldn't help but feel fear. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please forgive me. If he were on the ground now, number 11 would definitely kneel in front of Lin Chen. He pleaded, please, I will never do bad things again. Please let me go. Let you go? Do. Before Lin Chen finished speaking, number 11 suddenly showed a sly smile on his face and pointed his left hand towards Lin Chen's head. Boom boom, call out. An energy wave that concentrated all of No 11's energy suddenly hit Lin Chen's head, causing a huge explosion on his face. However, what made number 11 tremble all over was that after the smoke and dust cleared, Lin Chen looked at him unharmed. How could this happen? I used all my strength to perform the Dong Dong Bow, but this farce can end now. Lin Chen exerted force with his hands and immediately separated the head and body of number 11. When No 11's shattered body fell, Lin Chen casually threw out 2 energy bombs, directly blowing his body into pieces. This time, even Dr. Gero couldn't save the former number 1 killer. After doing all this, Lin Chen landed back to the ground with Taisai and the others. As soon as they landed, Hanasia asked curiously, Lin Chen, was that guy just now a robot? A robot with a combat power of 120,000. Is there such technology on Earth? The person who invented it is a genius who is no less than Dr. Brief. Lin Chen said. Really? Hanasia was shocked. Dr. Brief's intelligence and talent have been recognized by the entire universe. The universal capsule technology he developed is unmatched in the entire universe. I never thought that the technological strength of Earthlings would be so amazing. Yes, Dr. Gero is indeed a genius. Brief also exclaimed. I just didn't expect that he would actually join the Red Ribbon Army. Dr. Willow and Dr. Gero are both geniuses among humans. It's really a pity that they would degenerate. But Your Majesty, this guy is too dangerous. It's best to get rid of him as soon as possible. Fortunately, we are on Earth this time, otherwise ties would be in danger. Hanasia said. After hearing her words, Lin Chen hadn't made a decision yet, when he suddenly heard a familiar voice in his mind. Ding! Detected that the host is about to take action against Dr. Gero, triggering the strongest choice. Choice 1, ignore Dr. Gero and let him do what he wants. Reward, intermediate superpower, time stop. Choice 2, kill Dr. Gero and prevent the birth of subsequent artificial humans. Reward, a 1000 times gravity room with a built-in sparring robot. Choice 3, subdue Dr. Gero and make him work for you. Reward, instant transmission advanced edition. Chapter 86. Is this Dr. Gero's choice? Seeing the 3 choices this time, Lin Chen fell into deep thought. It must be admitted that Dr. Gero is an extremely rare super genius in the Dragon Ball world. It can even be said that he is the genius who truly defends human dignity in the Dragon Ball world. Not to mention android number 11 that Lin Chen was seeing right now. If nothing goes wrong, Dr. Gero will also create number 16, number 17, and number 18 that surpass Super Saiyan. Not to mention Cell, whose perfect form strength rivals that of Super Saiyan 2. It would be a pity to kill such a genius. Therefore, Lin Chen did not make a choice immediately, but continued to think deeply. System, can you tell me about the rewards this time? What is the difference between the time stop technique and the time flash technique? Time stop technique is a supernatural power that stops time. It is not a flash time skill, and it can stop time for 2 seconds, but during the time stop, you cannot use chi. Time stops? This is a very attractive superpower. Lin Chen remembers that in the original Dragon Ball, only Hit and Guldo and the Jinya Force have related skills. However, this time-stopping technique sounds like a similar ability to Guldo's time-stopping ability. You can't use air when time stops. This has too many restrictions, and you can't even fly. Then what about the sparring robot in option 2? A training robot that can transform into a Super Saiyan, a frozen demon, or a Namek to conduct actual combat simulations with the trainer. And it can adjust the combat power from 100,000 to 100 million. Lin Chen nodded. This reward was actually a top-notch tool for cultivation, as well as the 1000 times gravity chamber. Since the creation of the 500-fold gravity chamber, Dr. Brief once told Lin Chen that due to energy and material limitations, it is almost impossible to create a higher fold gravity chamber without a new technological leap. Therefore, it is likely that Lin Chen will not be able to obtain this 1000 times gravity chamber through normal means for at least 10 years. What about the advanced version of instant transmission in option 3? It is detected that the host already has the Jebit instant transmission, so this instant transmission is an advanced version, a combat type instant transmission. Combat instant transmission? Lin Chen understood immediately. This should be the instant transmission similar to the metal cooler. In the Dragon Ball world, aside from Zeno's instant transmission ability, there are only 3 main types of instant transmission. One is the instant transmission of the Adrit people, one is the instant transmission exclusive to Supreme Kai, and the last one is the instant transmission of Metal Cooler. This advanced version of instant transmission should be the last one. This instant transmission can be activated at any time. Although the distance is not far, as long as it is within visual range, it can move to wherever it sees. Lin Chen's current instant transmission takes time to activate, and he almost never has time to use it in battle. If he could obtain the advanced version of instant transmission, it would be a huge improvement to his combat capabilities. The rewards for the 3 options all have their own merits, making it difficult to choose. So in the end, the only thing to consider is the impact of these 3 options on the future. Lin Chen thought about it and finally made his own decision. System. I choose 3. Ding. Host selection confirmed. Please complete the task as soon as possible. The reward will be issued after Dr. Gero surrenders. After confirming, Lin Chen asked Dr. Brief, Dr. Brief, do you know where Dr. Gero lives? Dr. Brief paused for a moment and said, I remember his research institute seemed to be in the mountains near the northern city. Lin Chen nodded and said, okay, Hannah, come with me. Taisai, you stay here and take care of the doctor and the others. Lin Chen, are you going to deal with Dr. Gero? Dr. Brief heard this and hesitated, if possible, can you spare his life? Dr. Gero is a genius, it would be a pity if he died. I'll consider it. Lin Chen replied. Just as Lin Chen was busy dealing with Dr. Gero's affairs, the world's #1 martial arts conference was taking place. With Goku's victory, the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament came to an end. While Goku and the others were celebrating, Bardock was also preparing to take Jin away. Jin, our child has grown again. Well, although he is still very weak, you are right, he is indeed full of potential. As the couple was about to leave, Bardock suddenly sensed a murderous aura nearby. As a warrior who has experienced many battles, Bardock is naturally extremely sensitive to murderous aura. Although this murderous aura is still very faint, it is indeed nearby. What's going on? Bardock? What's wrong? Jin, wait a minute. Bardock took out the combat power detector, put it on, and immediately checked the surroundings. As a result, Bardock indeed discovered that a guy with a combat power of about 160 appeared behind the scenes of the martial arts competition arena. Seeing the opponent's fighting power, Bardock was temporarily relieved. He thought that he was just a small character and could not hurt his son. However, their plan to leave has to be put on hold for the time being. Jin, let's go back later. It looks like our son is going to face another challenge. Okay. Bardock and Jin then held their breath, flew up into the sky, hit high up, and observed what was happening below. Then, the couple witnessed the whole process of Piccolo Daimao's subordinate Dan Balin snatching the Dragon Ball and killing Krillin. Soon, an angry Goku chases after him, but is defeated by Dunbaran because he is hungry. With the purpose of testing their son, Bardock and Jin hid in the dark and observed silently, and did not take any action even when Goku fainted for a while. But then, when they saw a Namek appear, they were stunned. Namek people? How can there be Namek people on Earth? Bardock and the others knew very well that the Namek people were a race with high combat power that was no less than the Saiyan. Although for some reason the Namek people below only had a combat power of around 230, they were still better than Goku. Sure enough, although Goku's strength is stronger than the original, he still lost to Piccolo Daimao by one move, even though Piccolo Daimao's fighting power and moves are all better than his. When Goku's heart stopped, Jin almost couldn't help but rush down to kill Piccolo Daimao, but was forcibly pulled back by Bardock. Don't be impulsive, check your detector, Goku still has signs of life. Jin heard this and realized that it was indeed the case. Burdock, don't you have senzu beans? Let me go down and give one to Kakarot. No. We can't interfere with Kakarot's training. Burdock said calmly. His Majesty Lynx once said that the training on Earth now is Kakarot laying the foundation for his future development. I agree with His Majesty. Perhaps after this ordeal, Kakarot's fighting power will be improved again. Look, his companions are coming. As the two watched, Yajirobe revived Goku just like in the original story, and then set out towards Karin Tower with his help. Although compared to the original, Goku now has the option of asking Lin Chen for help, he did not do so. Krillin. I will avenge you personally. A Dr. Gero. A Piccolo Daimao. Unbeknownst to the world, Lin Chen and Goku each began their own actions to save the world. Chapter 87. Dr. Brief only had a general idea about Dr. Gero's research institute. Many years ago, when Dr. Gero had not yet disappeared from public view, a scientific magazine once interviewed him, in which it was mentioned that Dr. Gero's research institute was located in the mountainous area of a northern city. Although it is possible that Dr. Gero has moved, Lin Chen remembered that Dr. Gero's research institute was indeed in a secret mountainous area. Therefore, he did not think much about it and flew directly to the north with Han Asia. The cold hilly mountains in the north are covered with white snow, which looks like a vast expanse of white from a distance. It is not easy to find a well-hidden secret research institute in the vast mountainous area. Just as Lin Chen and Han Asia began to search for Dr. Gero's whereabouts, suddenly, the sky turned dark. Hey? Your Majesty, why did the sky turn dark? Han Asia looked at the dark sky in surprise. Someone is summoning Dragon Ball. Lin Chen raised his head and said. According to this time, Piccolo Daimao should be regaining his youth. Unexpectedly, even though Goku has become stronger, he is still no match for Piccolo Daimao. But it's a good thing this way. The more life and death battles Son Goku experiences, the more he can continue to grow. Thinking of this, Lin Chen turned on the combat power detector and adjusted it to the life detection mode. If he wants to see Goku's final battle with Piccolo Daimao, he'll have to hurry up. Bulma improved the detector based on the Frieza Corps' combat power detector. In addition to changing the way of detecting combat power, many other functions were retained, including the life detection function. This function can detect life signals of creatures above the insect level. At this moment, it can be used to find the whereabouts of Dr. Gero. After all, this northern mountainous area is extremely desolate, and there are not many creatures in the mountains that can produce life signals. It is easier to find the whereabouts of Dr. Gero by searching one by one than by searching aimlessly. Sure enough, after searching for more than an hour, Lin Chen finally found the secret entrance to Dr. Gero's laboratory. He called Han Asia over, and the two of them came to the entrance of the research institute together. A steel door that was probably half a meter thick blocked the two people's way. Your Majesty, let me do it. Just open the door. Good. Han Asia said something and walked forward, rubbing her fingers together. Then a bright key blast was fired out, blasting a hole in the cave entrance and revealing the passage inside. Dr. Gero's research is not only located in a remote and extremely secretive area, but the facilities inside are also extremely strict. Not long after the two of them walked in, a large number of sentry robots rushed out and attacked Lin Chen and the others without hesitation. Ridiculous. Han Asia sneered and waved her hand, and all the robots were destroyed by the blast formed by her momentum. Deep inside the research institute, Dr. Gero was sweating profusely and felt extremely desperate. Damn it! Why? Why is there such a powerful person in this world? If I had known this would happen, I shouldn't have let the android out so early. Damn it! Damn it! If only I could have been given a little more time. Give you some more time, what can you do? Suddenly, a woman's voice sounded from behind Dr. Gero. Dr. Gero turned his head sharply and saw Lin Chen and Han Asia standing in front of him. If I'm given some time, my android will definitely be able to defeat you two monsters. Hey? Just those scraps of metal. Han Asia said with disdain. But Lin Chen knew that Dr. Gero was not lying. The artificial humans he creates in the future will be monsters that can even challenge God. Such a genius is indeed worth recruiting. Pushing Han Asia away, Lin Chen stepped forward and said, Dr. Gero, you should know clearly now that you have nowhere to escape. Now I will give you two choices. One is to surrender to me. I can let you continue your research on artificial humans, but from now on, your loyalty will not be to the defunct Red Ribbon Army, but to me, Lin Chen, and the Saiyan kingdom that I control. Saiyan? You are not from Earth. Dr. Gero widened his eyes. That's right. We are from the universe of Planet Vegeta, including Son Goku, who you want to get rid of, who is also a Saiyan. No wonder. No wonder you are so powerful. Dr. Gero clenched his fists and said, how could humans be so strong? It turned out that the other party was actually a person from the universe. Lin Chen continued, as for the second option, if you don't submit to me, then bury it in this cave with your research. After Lin Chen finished speaking, a terrifying aura surged from him, making Dr. Gero almost unable to move and his body trembled continuously. What do you think? Life or death, Dr. Gero, what will you choose? Lin Chen said indifferently. At this time, Dr. Gero was so frightened by Lin Chen's aura that he couldn't even speak. Even though Dr. Gero may be able to create artificial humans that can rival God in the future, he himself is actually just an ordinary human being. Seeing this, Lin Chen put away his aura. Dr. Gero suddenly began to gasp for air, as if a suffocating person was regaining air. He raised his head with difficulty, looked at Lin Chen and said, you want me to submit to you, what do you want me to do? You don't have to do anything, just continue your research. We Saiyans are a fighting race and often need to go out to fight, but the Saiyan population is too small. Your androids may be able to help Saiyans in the future. For now, this is all Lin Chen can think of regarding how to use Dr. Gero after taming him. In the past, Saiyan had the habit of using cultivated humans for training and to assist in combat. With Dr. Gero's artificial humans, the cultivated humans can be retired. Compared with cultivated humans, artificial humans should be far more useful in both training and support. Dr. Gero, I'll ask you one last time, are you willing to follow me? Lin Chen asked to confirm. Dr. Gero hesitated for a moment, and finally lowered his head. I understand, Mr. Lin Chen, I am willing to submit to you. Ding! Congratulations to the host for taming Dr. Gero. Reward, advanced version of instant transmission. When the system's voice came, the original instant transmission column in Lin Chen's attribute panel had new changes. Lin Chen smiled slightly and nodded, okay, Dr. Gero, clean up your research institute. In the future, your research institute will be set up on the Vegeta star. I will let some alien scientists serve as your assistants. Chapter 88. I understand, sir. Going to an unknown planet for research suddenly made Dr. Gero feel a little fear about the future. But at this moment, Dr. Gero felt Lin Chen put his hand on his head. Sir, you are. I'll give you a boost in strength, or your old bones will be crushed to death once you get to Vegeta. The gravity on Vegeta is 10 times that of Earth. A golden light suddenly shone from Dr. Gero's body, and then this old man, who was already in his 50s or 60s, suddenly felt as if he was several decades younger. Power. My body is filled with power. After Lin Chen's potential development, Dr. Gero's combat power suddenly increased to more than 900, which is almost the same as the lower-level warriors on the Vegeta star in the past. Work hard for me, maybe I can restore your youth in the future. Lin Chen said. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. At this time, Dr. Gero seemed to have just started research on advanced androids. He had not yet started research on androids that would far exceed the combat power of the Earth in the future. Therefore, it only took Dr. Gero a short time to complete the shipment of all the equipment in his research institute with the help of the Universal Capsule. My lord, I am ready. Yet. Lin Chen nodded, glanced at the now empty research institute, and asked again, have the computers in the basement of the research institute been taken away? Lin Chen remembered that there should be another computer in the basement of Dr. Gero's research institute. It was that computer that continued to complete subsequent research after Dr. Gero's death and finally completed the ultimate artificial human cell. Underground. But after hearing Lin Chen's words, Dr. Gero was stunned for a moment. Sir, there is nothing underground. When Lin Chen heard this, he knew that he might have been overthinking. It seemed that Dr. Gero had not yet expanded his research institute. Okay, let's go. After that, Lin Chen took Dr. Gero and Han Asia with him and went directly to Vegeta planet via instant transmission. Hannah, I'll leave Dr. Gero to you. Please make the arrangements. I have to go back to Earth to take care of some things. After handing Dr. Gero over to Han Asia, Lin Chen returned to Earth again. His goal was the Battle of Piccolo Daimao, which had not yet ended. In the original work, this is the first big boss battle that Son Goku encounters, and Lin Chen doesn't want to miss it. By then, the rejuvenated Piccolo Daimao had already broken into the palace of the human kingdom and proclaimed himself the new king. Goku, who had finally survived the torture of the super divine water, was finally reborn with the power of the super divine water and the Saiyan blood in his body. His combat power reached 270, which is slightly better than Piccolo Daimao. When Lin Chen flew over the palace, he happened to meet the Burdocks who had not left yet. "Burdock, you guys still here?" "Your Majesty." Burdock and Jin saluted Lin Chen. "Kakarot is coming this way. We plan to see how he will deal with this Namek man. Then let us wait and see." Just like the original story, before this, Master Roshi had already died because he exhausted his power while performing manhwa in order to stop Piccolo Daimao. Tianjin Gon inherited Master Roshi's will and came alone to challenge after learning the manhwa. However, he found that the rice cooker used to perform the manhwa was broken, so he had no choice but to challenge Piccolo Daimao head-on. But at that time, the Z fighters were still very weak. They only had the martial arts passed down on Earth, and they could not train fighters who could defeat the people from the universe. Until the moment when Tian Jingfen was defeated and on the verge of death, little Goku finally arrived from the horizon. Kakarot's combat power is actually 270? How did he increase his combat power by 1/3 in just a few hours? Jin couldn't help but be surprised at the fighting power that Son Goku was now showing. "This is the magic of the Earth," Lin Chen exclaimed on the side. Although the Earth is just an insignificant place in the universe, this planet has many magical things, such as the super divine water and the Namek Dragon Ball. These things are extremely rare in the universe, but they are all on this planet. It is indeed magical. As they watched, the battle between Piccolo Daimao and Son Goku began. They fought back and forth, and a fierce battle broke out around the palace. Countless ki blasts continued to sweep everywhere, and the palace, which was already in ruins, was completely turned into a desolate land. Gradually, the battle came to an end, and although Piccolo Daimao tried his best, he found that he was no match for Son Goku. At this juncture, Piccolo Daimao suddenly reached out and grabbed the immobile Tianjin Gon, trying to threaten Son Goku with it. "Ha ha ha! You'd better not move, or I'll crush his head." Tianjin Rice. Damn it! Little Goku was extremely unwilling, but he really didn't dare to move anymore. Seeing this, Piccolo Daimao sneered and picked up a stone, ready to take this opportunity to cripple Goku's limbs. "Don't move, boy. If you move, he will be dead." Piccolo Daimao sneered, pointed the stone at Goku, and then blew it suddenly with his mouth. Bang! Just as the stone was about to hit Son Goku, a figure suddenly blocked the flying stone for Goku. Ah! Goku stared blankly at the figure that appeared in front of him, while in the sky, Burdock was shocked and said, "Oh no! Jin, you idiot!" The one who appeared in front of Goku was his mother Jin. "You stupid boy, why don't you kill that Namek guy right away?" "Auntie? What did you say? If I touch Tianjin Fan, he will. How can you be so soft-hearted? You are not like Saiyan at all. Okay, let me help you this time." After saying that, Jin flashed and came to Piccolo Daimao's side. With a light wave of his hand, he cut off his left arm and saved Tianjin Fan. My hand!" Piccolo Daimao screamed miserably. He had never expected that besides the boy in front of him, another master would appear out of nowhere. What on earth happened during the hundreds of years he was sealed? "All right, kid. I've saved your friend, so hurry up and kill this Namek." "I see. Thank you, Auntie." Son Goku yelled, concentrating all his strength into his right fist, and then rushed towards Piccolo Daimao with all his strength. Piccolo Daimao, who had a broken arm, went crazy and threw several energy bombs at Son Goku desperately. The key bullets hit Goku and a huge flash of light exploded. However, in the flash of light, Son Goku suddenly appeared and punched Piccolo Daimao through with one punch. Chapter 89. Piccolo Daimao lowered his head in disbelief, and found that a big hole had been pierced in his chest without him knowing. I lost." He laughed miserably, and suddenly spat out a white egg from his mouth and threw it towards the distant far north. "Son, you must avenge your father. The source of evil must not be cut off." With a violent explosion, Piccolo Daimao was shattered to pieces on the spot and disappeared completely. Because there was only a short period of time between Piccolo Daimao vomiting eggs and his complete explosion and death, almost no one at the scene noticed it. But Lin Chen and Burdock, who were far up in the sky, saw it clearly. The same is true for Jin on the ground. Seeing that his son had not completely eradicated the problem, Jin wanted to take action for his son again. But at this moment, Burdock's voice rang out in her communicator, "Enough Jin, you have meddled enough this time. Let Kakarot make up for his mistakes in the future." "Okay, okay." Upon hearing this, Jin stopped his hand and let the egg disappear into the horizon. Not long after, Yamcha and others arrived, prepared to die, to support Tianjing Fan. When they learned that Piccolo Daimao was dead, everyone jumped for excitement. Win, Goku defeated Piccolo Daimao. Great, Piccolo Daimao is destroyed, Goku you saved the world. Goku was supported and laughed miserably, "Not only me, but if it weren't for this ant's help, both Tianjingfen and I would probably die." Ant. When everyone heard this, they realized that there was another person at the scene. Although Yamcha didn't know her, Wolong, Puer and Lankai all found that the woman looked familiar. As for Bulma, he recognized her as the Saiyan who came to Earth with Lin Chen and the others this time. "Since she is here, then Lin Chen." Bulma raised her head and immediately saw Lin Chen and Burdock falling from the sky. "Brother Lin Chen." "Hello, Bulma and everyone." Lin Chen landed on the ground with a smile and greeted them. "It's you." Yamcha immediately said unwillingly, "Why did you come out now? Aren't you very powerful? Why didn't you help? Don't you know that Master Roshi and Krillin are dead?" Bold. A burst of energy suddenly burst out from Burdock and blew Yamcha away directly. Wulong and Puer quickly ran over and helped Yamcha up from the ground. Tianjingfen was shocked. With just a quick glance, he could tell that these two men who appeared were probably more terrifying than Piccolo Daimao. "All right Burdock." Lin Chen called out to Burdock, then looked at Goku who also looked confused. "Goku, do you think I should help too?" "Yes, yes. Brother Lin Chen, you guys are so powerful. If you had taken action earlier, many people would not have died. We are not from Earth, why should we save you?" Lin Chen suddenly said. Hearing this, Goku was stunned, and the Tianjing fan was speechless. "Goku, do you remember what I told you before? We are not from Earth, so what is happening on Earth, what does it have to do with us?" Lin Chen said, "This universe is full of dangers. Things like Piccolo Daimao are nothing compared to those dangers. We can save you once, but we can't always protect the Earth for you. If you want to keep the Earth safe and sound, you can only rely on your own strength. If you want to save others, save yourself first. Only if you have the power to protect the Earth can you truly protect the peace of the Earth." After hearing Lin Chen's words, Son Goku and Tianjing Fan were both speechless. Although Yamcha was unwilling, he had to admit that he was right. If they were strong enough, not so many people would have died in the Piccolo Daimao rebellion. But Master Roshi and Krillin are both dead." Yamcha shouted unwillingly. "That's okay, we can just use Shenron to revive them." Goku said. Hearing this, Tianjin Fan said with an ugly face, "Goku, you don't know that Shenron has been killed by Piccolo Daimao." "What? That Master Roshi Grandpa, and Krillin?" Goku was shocked, his body shaking. "Don't worry, Shenron was created by God. All we have to do is ask God to resurrect Shenron." Lin Chen said. "God?" Goku was stunned. Wulong said with disdain, "How can there be a God in this world?" "No, God does exist." Bulma suddenly said, "Goku, God is on the Karin Tower. I've been there with brother Lin Chen before. What are we waiting for? Somersault Cloud." Goku immediately called for the Somersault Cloud and prepared to head to Karin Tower. Etc. Tianjing Fan called him, "Goku, the Karin Tower you just mentioned, is it the legendary martial arts Holy Land?" "That's right. I have trained there before. I was able to defeat Piccolo Daimao this time because of the help of a sage named Karin Sama from Karin Tower. It turns out that the legends are true. Please take me with you. I want to become stronger. This time, Piccolo Daimao made me realize that I still have a long way to go. I must become stronger. Next time, I will never ask you to help save me again," said Tianjingfen. "I want to go too." Yamcha also stepped forward and said, "I can't help you this time, but I will definitely catch up with you." Everyone. Goku nodded vigorously, "Okay, let's go to Karin Tower together." The three men, inspired with fighting spirit, immediately prepared to set out for Karantat. After saying goodbye to everyone, Yamcha and Tian Jingfen boarded a plane, and Son Goku jumped on the somersault cloud. Brother Lin Chen. Thank you for your guidance this time. I will continue to become stronger. Sitting on the somersault cloud, Son Goku turned around and said to Lin Chen. When I become strong enough, I hope that you can come and teach me, Brother Lin Chen. Okay, I'll wait for that day. Lin Chen nodded with a smile. Goodbye then. Son Goku waved at them and was about to leave. At this time, Kokoro, Son Goku. A shout suddenly called out to Son Goku. He looked back and saw that the person who called him was a strange man next to Lin Chen. Uncle, what's the matter? Come on and get stronger. Burdock said, trying hard to suppress his emotions. Be safe. Jin also said. Yet. Son Goku nodded at the two of them, then disappeared into the horizon. Goodbye. Bulma, Ranchi, Oolong, and Puer. Tian Jingfen and Yamcha also said goodbye to everyone and chased after Goku. After Goku and the others left, Lin Chen also said goodbye to Bulma and the others, and returned to Planet Vegeta together. Chapter 90. After parting with Lin Chen and the others, Goku brought Tian Jingfen and Yamcha to Karin Tower. Because he defeated Piccolo Daimao, Goku successfully obtained Karin-sama's permission to go to the Temple of Heaven to meet the gods. As for Tianjing Rice and Yamcha, you have to start by climbing the Kalin Tower. As the two of them landed on the ground and began to climb the tower, Karin-sama took Son Goku to the top of Karin Tower. Insert the Ruyi stick into the groove. Let the Ruyi stick continue to grow longer and you can reach the temple. And these two bells are your proof of meeting the gods. Son Goku nodded, followed the instructions, and ascended into the sky with the help of the Ruyi stick, and soon disappeared. Karin-sama stroked his beard and smiled faintly. Lin Chen is right. In the past, the martial arts on Earth were too backward. For the safety of the Earth, it is time to revitalize the martial arts on Earth. Those who save others must save themselves. Hey! By the way, when Goku sees those two on the goddess, he'll be shocked. Wow, that's fast. I can't see Karin Tower anymore. Not long after, through the thick layer of dark clouds, Son Goku finally saw the Temple of Heaven floating in the sky. Beep. The Ruyi stick was accurately inserted into the groove at the bottom of the temple. Son Goku climbed along the side ladder and jumped onto the temple. Looking at the majestic and magnificent palace, Son Goku was full of curiosity. At this moment, he saw a figure not far away. In the original work, it was Mr. Popo, the servant of God, who greeted Son Goku. But in this world, the person who appeared in front of Goku was a black-haired young man who looked a few years older than him. Hey? Are you the god? I'm not. My name is Broly, and I'm a candidate for the god. The black-haired young man was Broly, who had lived in the Temple of Heaven for many years. Alternate? What does alternate mean? Son Goku blinked. The god said that one day I will become the next god. Wow, so you are a god too? Hello. I wonder if you can revive Shenron for me. Son Goku bowed. Sorry, that's something only God can do. If you want to see him, you have to take the test. Broly said lightly. Test? Even if I have this bell, can't I do it? Son Goku took out Karin-sama's bell. Broly took a look and said, the bell is just a certificate that allows you to accept the test. If you want to see the gods, you must accept other tests. What is the test? As long as you can touch me, Broly said. Hey? Why does this test sound so familiar? Son Goku muttered in surprise, never mind, let's get started now. Well, actually the original test was a duel, but I don't like fighting. Really? That's a shame. I think fighting is more fun. Ever since defeating Piccolo Daimao, Son Goku has been full of confidence, and feels that there are probably few people in this world who can defeat him. But Son Goku didn't know that the monster in front of him was far from being on the same level as him. Here I come. After saying that, Son Goku suddenly disappeared from where he was. But the next moment, Son Goku was suddenly hit by something and fell down only 2 steps away from Broly. Ouch! What was that just now? Son Goku got up with a puzzled look on his face, but found nothing. Strange. Is it my own illusion? Mr. Broly, here I come. This time Goku directly used the afterimage fist, trying to catch Broly from behind. But just as he performed this move, he was hit in the face by something again, and his face became swollen. Oh my god, it hurts. What on earth is this? Son Goku looked up, then was stunned. Because he finally saw clearly that what whipped him just now was actually a tail behind Broly. And this tail is exactly the same as Goku's tail. You are a Saiyan too. Yes. Broly admitted, Brother Lynx brought me here. Lynx. It's the Lin Chen you know. Ah. It's him. No wonder. Son Goku exclaimed. Broly said calmly, go back. Although you beat Piccolo Daimao, your strength is not yet qualified to meet the gods. Yes, I'm sorry, I was too self-righteous. But I have to see the gods. I have to save everyone quickly, otherwise I won't go back. So. Broly raised an eyebrow. Can I have special training here? Yes. I want to train here, pass the test, and meet the gods. Even though the gap between us is so huge, you won't give up. Yes. Goku clenched his fists and nodded vigorously. Broly smiled and thought to himself, this Goku is indeed just like what Brother Lynx said, he is completely different from the average Saiyan. At this time, the god who had been watching secretly finally decided to meet with Goku. Later, Son Goku met the old god who looked exactly like Piccolo Daimao, and witnessed the god resurrecting Shenron. After completing his mission of visiting the Temple of Heaven, Goku then learned a shocking news. Son Goku, you defeated Piccolo Daimao and saved the world, that's amazing. The old god praised, but unfortunately, Piccolo Daimao is not dead yet. He left behind his clone before he died. That clone is even more powerful than Piccolo Daimao, and sooner or later it will endanger the world again. For some reason, Broly and I can't attack it directly, so you need to train here for the next 3 years so that you can protect the peace of the earth in the future. I understand. Brother Lin Chen told me that we can only protect the earth with our own strength and cannot rely on others. Goku said. Your awareness is very good. The god nodded with satisfaction. Soon after, Shenron is resurrected, the people killed by Piccolo Daimao are resurrected, and Master Roshi and Krillin also wake up from their coffins. Knowing that all this was thanks to Goku, and that he had now gone to the Celestial Temple to train, Krillin also decided to go to Karin Tower to hone himself. Just as the Z warriors on Earth began to train harder than before because of Lin Chen's chain reaction, on Planet Vegeta. Your Majesty Lynx, there's news from the Galactic Patrol. They've confirmed Slug's whereabouts. In the Saiyan Palace, Lin Chen received urgent information from Paragus. Lin Chen asked, are you sure? You won't let them slip away this time, right? That shouldn't happen, Your Majesty, because according to the information from the Galactic Patrol, Slug seems to be planting a spirit tree. Chapter 91. Spirit tree? Didn't I destroy it? Lin Chen exclaimed. After Lin Chen acquired the super bloodline through fusion, he happened to meet Tulz, who was trying to plant the fruit of the spirit tree on the Vegeta planet. In order to complete the selection task, Lin Chen raised his hand and turned Tulz and the spirit tree into nothingness. How come there is another spirit tree now, and it is in the hands of the evil Namek man Slag? Paragus said, Your Majesty, the details are still unclear. According to the intelligence from the Galactic Patrol, Slug's army has previously occupied a planet called Lalula, which is under the jurisdiction of the Galactic Patrol. The Galactic Patrol has already sent patrols there after discovering the situation, but they were beaten back by Slug's men. They now hope that we can send a special forces team to provide support immediately. Spirit Tree. Lin Chen touched his chin. Although he once thought that the fruit of the spirit tree was of no use to him. But speaking of it, for the Saiyan on the entire Vegeta planet, the spirit tree fruit is still a very useful thing that can quickly improve strength in a short period of time. And for him, the fruit of the spirit tree can also help him hone his spiritual power. So no matter what, this time, Lin Chen is not going to miss the spirit tree again. How long does it take to get from Planet Vegeta to Planet Lala? Lalula is extremely far away from us. It will probably take a month to get there using the Galactic Patrol's high-speed spacecraft, Paragus replied. So far. Lin Chen frowned. Yes, Lalula is already in the Eastern Galaxy. Logically, it has exceeded our combat radius, so the Galactic Patrol also said that it is really impossible. I hope Your Majesty can take action personally. In that case, tell the Galactic Patrol that I will go out in person. Also, Paragus, Organize a team to investigate the northern galaxy to see if there are any planets suitable for life but where no intelligent life has appeared yet. Paragus raised his eyebrows. Your Majesty, you are. If possible, I'm going to get the seeds of the spirit tree this time. I understand. I'll have someone start investigating right away. As someone who had eaten the fruit of the spirit tree, Paragus also knew the benefits of the fruit of the spirit tree. By the way, Your Majesty, are you acting alone this time? Let Burdock and Han Asia come over, and find 5 elite soldiers. I will use instant transmission to take them over together. Lin Chen made the decision. Although he should be able to deal with Slug alone. But to avoid any accidents, it's better to bring more people with you. Paragus nodded and immediately began to summon people. Just when Paragus was anxious to find someone, an old man suddenly stopped him. Lord Paragus, what's the matter with all your haste? Paragus glanced at the man and said, Dr. Gero? His Majesty is going out on a mission and asked me to gather some people. What's going on? No, nothing. I'm just curious. Lin Chen. No, His Majesty Lynx also has to carry out the mission personally. Is the opponent very strong? Dr. Gerald looked curious. That's right. Otherwise, why would His Majesty come in person? Paragus frowned. Dr. Gero, you just arrived at Vegeta planet, you should stop asking about these things and concentrate on your research. Yes, I understand. Dr. Gero nodded repeatedly. Seeing this, Paragus ignored him and went to look for someone. Soon, Burdock and others arrived at Lin Chen's side. Except for Burdock and Han Asia, the other 5 people Paragus found were all masters, and none of them had a combat power of less than 100,000. After hearing the mission, these people immediately put their hands on Lin Chen, and he used instant transmission to take everyone to Lalula Star. Lalula is an agricultural planet. The planet itself has not developed any civilization, but after being discovered by a civilization under the Galactic Patrol, this green planet was transformed into an agricultural planet that specializes in growing various crops. But now, this planet, which should have been full of vitality, can no longer see any green. The entire planet seemed to be dead, plants withered and life became extinct. There is only a giant tree that blocks out the sun and extends to the outer surface of the atmosphere, like a huge umbrella, blocking the warm sunlight from the stars outside. Under this giant tree, the demon warriors of the Slag Legion are patrolling along the tree with strict vigilance to prevent anyone from stealing the fruits of the growing spirit tree. On the ground, in Slag's universe spaceship, Slag was tasting a spirit tree fruit he found in Tulsa's secret treasure, and asked impatiently, how long will it take for the spirit tree fruit to mature? My king, the fruits should be ripe by today at the latest. Very good, this spiritual tree is indeed food that only gods can enjoy. After eating just a few, I feel that every cell in my body is full of vitality. If I can eat all the fruits of this planet, there will be no one in this universe who can be my opponent. Just as Slag was roaring, suddenly, the energy detector on the spaceship made a series of non-stop beep sounds, and then someone on the spaceship shouted, My lord! A stranger suddenly appeared on the planet. The opponent's combat power seems to be extremely strong. Extremely strong? How many? Asked Slag. My lord, the enemy's combat power is at least over 3 million. We dare not continue to detect, otherwise the detector on the spacecraft may be at risk of exploding. 3 million. When they heard this number, several of Slag's direct subordinates in the spaceship gasped. A giant-like subordinate said nervously, King Slag. Something is wrong, please get everyone back quickly. After hearing this, Slag raised his head coldly and stared at the other person. The subordinate immediately began to tremble all over, and hurriedly said, My lord, what I meant was. Slag did not let him continue speaking, but pointed at the other party directly. A beam of light burst out from between his fingers, making the subordinate shut up forever. With only 3 million combat forces, you want me to retreat? Ridiculous. I, Slag, do not need such cowardly subordinates. Yes, your majesty, the others responded immediately. Slag took off his cloak and walked outside with firm steps. Come on. Let's see which stupid thief is trying to get the fruit of my spirit tree. On the other side, Lin Chen and the others were also shocked by the huge size of the spiritual tree in front of them that blocked out the sky. Compared to the spirit tree on the Vegeta planet, this spirit tree is much larger. The size of the spirit tree should be determined by the life energy on the planet. As an agricultural planet, Lalula has much more vitality than the Vegeta planet back then, so this spirit tree is almost 10 times larger than the one on Vegeta planet. Especially the fruits of the spirit trees on the branches are as numerous as the stars in the sky. Chapter 92. Your Majesty, there must be thousands of spirit tree fruits here, right? Hanaxia couldn't help but say. This planet should be twice as large as Vegeta, probably for this reason, said Burdock. Lin Chen clenched his fists and said to them, these spirit tree fruits belong to us Saiyans. Hanasia, Burdock, take your men to deal with Slag's subordinates, and I will go find Slag. Yes, Lord Lin Chen. Burdock nodded immediately. But Hanasia said, Your Majesty Lynx, leave Slag to me. You? Hana, have you turned on the detector and taken a look? Slag's combat power is already 20 million. What? Upon hearing this, Hanasia quickly turned on the energy detector. Burdock and the others were also furious and turned on their detectors to check. After a while, the sound of gasps was heard continuously. How could the Namek people have such high combat power? Hanasia asked puzzled. It's not like she didn't know Namek at all. The people on that planet only had a combat power of a few thousand, and some had even lower, like the Namek on Earth, whose combat power wasn't even 1,000. Now, a Namek man suddenly appeared, whose combat power was higher than that of the frozen demon, and everyone's first reaction was that their detector was broken. But the Saiyans who came to Lalula Star today have all learned to sense chi. And when they put down the detectors and tried to sense Slug's breath, they immediately felt an extremely terrifying breath, far more powerful than Frieza and even cooler whom they encountered last time on Ifrit. Slug is a super Namek, just like a super Saiyan, the most powerful among the Nameks. Hana, you are no match for him now. Lin Chen said. Your Majesty Lynx, what about you? Hanasia's face turned a little pale. For the first time since she was able to transform into a Super Saiyan, she felt a sense of powerlessness. Don't worry, if it's another Super Namek, I might have a hard time dealing with him, but Slag is still far from it. Lin Chen smiled heartily, revealing his white teeth. In fact, if the one who appeared in front of Lin Chen right now was Piccolo in the original novel who merged with the god in the Battle of the Androids, even Lin Chen, who possessed the super bloodline, would probably find it difficult to deal with him. Because Piccolo at that time was at least 5 times stronger than Frieza. According to the combat power analysis in the original work, his combat power was at least over 500 million. Converted to Lin Chen's world, it should have a normal combat power of about 50 million, plus some magical abilities mastered by the Namek people. Lin Chen may not be easy to deal with. But compared with the future Piccolo, Slug seems to lack training, which may be related to the fact that he has been in the aging period for a long time. So even if he has regained his youth, his fighting power is only less than twice that of Frieza and others. Yet. Hanaxia nodded slightly, then looked at Lin Chen for a while. Your Majesty, after I return this time, I hope you can give me some guidance. I want to become stronger. Okay. Lin Chen smiled slightly. Hanaxia, who seemed to have never liked practicing, was also stimulated by Slag this time. Watching Hanasia and the others charging towards Slag's men, Lin Chen stretched his limbs. Since returning to his own world, Lin Chen hasn't encountered an opponent who can allow him to exert his full strength for a long time. I hope you won't let me down. At this time, the demon warriors that flew out of the universe spaceship have been attacked by Burdock and his group. In front of them, these people, whose combat strength was no more than tens of thousands, were killed as easily as cutting melons and vegetables. Shraj is awesome. When he saw one of his direct subordinates screaming and being evaporated by a wave of light, Slag snorted coldly and was about to take action. But at this moment, Lin Chen appeared in front of Slag in an instant. Slag was quite surprised because he had not noticed any signs of Lin Chen's appearance before. It was as if he suddenly appeared out of nowhere, and even with Slag's super Namek vision, he couldn't catch up with his movements. Slag, your opponent is me. Lin Chen said lightly. You? Are you Saiyan? Slag's eyes fell on the tail around Lin Chen's waist. Yes, I am Lynx from Planet Vegeta. Lynx. Slag's eyes narrowed. Wasn't this the name of the Saiyan who was rumored to have killed the ice demon Frieza? So it's you? Saiyan, I heard you killed Frieza? Considering Saiyan's strength, this is really amazing. But if you think you are invincible just like that, that's ridiculous. Slag said, his tone gradually filled with murderous intent. With my current strength, killing Frieza is just like crushing an ant. I have no hatred against you Saiyans, so leave immediately if you know what's good for you. Otherwise, after I harvest this batch of spirit tree fruits, my next target will be your planet Vegeta. Oh! Lin Chen sneered, raised his hand and fired a death beam directly at Slag. The golden beam of light flew at high speed and hit Slag instantly. The roar of the explosion startled me. However, after the smoke cleared, Slag was still standing there intact, but his clothes had been torn to pieces by the explosion. The helmet that Slug had been wearing was also broken, revealing the two iconic tentacles of the Namek people. Court death! Slag roared, and all the energy in his body burst out instantly. The cold and dark atmosphere instantly stunned the Saiyans who were fighting around. So powerful! This aura is indeed stronger than Frieza and cooler. Hanaxia and the others stared with their eyes wide open, cold sweat gradually seeping out of their foreheads, and they couldn't help but worry about Lin Chen's safety. Slag continued to vent his aura as if to show off. Looking at Lin Chen who was lying motionless in front of him, he thought that he had been scared silly. But at this moment, Slag suddenly saw that Lin Chen in front of him raised the corner of his mouth and smiled at him. If you want to scare people with your aura, this is the way to go. What? Slag was stunned. But the next moment, he saw that Lin Chen on the opposite side suddenly shouted loudly, and the surging energy was like a reservoir that had been accumulated for a long time and suddenly opened the gates, and began to pour out crazily. The aura continued to explode, and this time it was Slag and his men's turn to be frightened. Their eyes widened, and they were in a daze. On the planet Lalula, which had already given up hope, large dark clouds floated in the sky, and golden lightning suddenly fell and exploded in the air. The big enemy beneath their feet actually began to tremble dully, and tiny pieces of gravel began to float into the air due to the enormous force. Chapter 93. 10 million. 20 million. 50 million. 80 million. 100 million. 130 million. When Lin Chen's aura finally stopped bursting out, his appearance had changed drastically. Slag looked at the person in front of him in disbelief. You, what are you doing? I heard that you are a super Namek? Sorry, I am a super Saiyan. Lin Chen replied indifferently. Super Saiyan. Looking at Lin Chen in front of him, whose body was emitting golden aura and whose golden hair was flying high into the sky, Slag's face was stiff. As a person who has lived for hundreds of years, Slug has naturally heard of the legend of Super Saiyan. I see. No wonder you Saiyans were able to kill Frieza. You are truly amazing. But in front of me, Slug, you will all die. Wow! A stream of energy suddenly exploded in all directions with Slag as the center. The gravel and even the rumbling thunder that were attracted to the sky by Lin Chen's power were either shattered or scattered by this energy. At the same time, Slag moved and threw the first punch of the battle. Bang! Slag punched Lin Chen hard in the face with anger. Immediately afterwards, Slag put away his fists, changed his position, and continued to attack Lin Chen from different angles. Bang bang bang! His fists hit Lin Chen again and again, making dull sounds. At the same time, Slag's fists became faster and faster, crackling in the air like firecrackers. Seeing that Slug was overwhelmingly in the upper hand in the battle, his subordinates shouted with joy. Hail! King Slug is invincible! Kill these Saiyans! Come on, King! On Saiyans' side, everyone's face was stiff. But suddenly, these people heard Burdock shouting, Don't lose heart! His Majesty Lynx's spirit has not diminished at all. Everyone was stunned. At this moment, Lin Chen, who had been beaten without moving, finally threw his first punch in the fight. Bang! His punch hit Slag's face just as he was about to attack, and knocked Slag to the ground, creating a bottomless hole in the ground. Hiss! All the demon warriors gasped. Slug, this is how you hit with your fists. Lin Chen said calmly. Ah! At the bottom of the cave, Slag's limbs were broken and shattered, but the recovery power he wished for from Shenron allowed his body to quickly recover. However, despite his amazing recovery ability, he was not immune to pain, and Slag's face was distorted by the pain. Super Saiyan! Incredible! If it was before I regained my youth, you would have been the best fighter in the universe. But unfortunately, I have already made a wish to Dragon Ball to regain my youth. Now, I am invincible. Prepare to be terrified. See the true power of a super Namek. The earth suddenly began to shake violently, and the horrifying aura burst out again. Anyone who could sense aura discovered that Slag's aura was actually starting to increase again. How is this possible? How could that Namek have such power? 30 million. 40 million. 100 million. 150 million. 200 million? Lord Burdock, Slug's fighting power exceeds 200 million. What? Just as everyone was stunned, a tall Namek man with an extremely ferocious face stood up from the big hole. Who else could this giant Namek be if not Slug? Is this the giant transformation of the Namek people? Lin Chen pondered in his heart as he looked at Slug, who was like a titan giant under his feet. The transformation of the Namek people is different from the transformation of other races in the universe. It is a transformation of body shape. In addition to his body turning into a giant, his combat power also increased tenfold. Previously, Slag's combat power was 20 million, and if it increased tenfold, that would mean a combat power of over 200 million. This is 70 million more than Lin Chen's current combat power of 130 million. The terrifying and powerful aura made even Super Saiyan Han-Asia start to tremble. How's it going, Saiyan? Do you feel the infinite power in my body? Now, prepare to die. Slug roared and suddenly soared into the sky. Although his body has become larger, his speed has not decreased, and he is even more agile than before. Bang bang bang! Slag and Lin Chen punched each other, their bodies turned into afterimages, appearing everywhere in the sky and on the ground, and then quickly disappeared. The golden aura and Slag's energy continued to expand, making the entire Lalula planet seem to have entered the end of the world, and various natural disasters and abnormal changes frequently occurred in various places. From time to time, Slag's demon warriors were caught up in the fight between the two and were blown to pieces. Seeing this, the rest of the people also fled to the ground to avoid being implicated. Oh my god, the Namek people are so powerful? They can be on par with His Majesty Lynx. What do you mean they are equal? His aura has surpassed that of His Majesty Lynx. Saiyan, who followed Lin Chen, had never seen such a powerful enemy before. Ever since they knew that Lin Chen was already a Super Saiyan, these people have always believed that their Majesty Lynx was already the strongest in the universe. Unexpectedly, today, someone has surpassed Lynx in combat power. No. I must go help His Majesty. Seeing that Lin Chen seemed to be at a disadvantage, Han-Asia immediately transformed into a Super Saiyan and wanted to go forward to help. Wait a moment. Burdock grabbed Han-Asia and said, Princess. Even you can't intervene in a battle of that level. What should I do? Do you want me to watch Lynx lose? Don't be impatient. Princess, don't you realize that even though His Majesty Lynx's fighting ability is not as good as that Namek man's, he can at least fight him to a draw now. Hey? Yet? What's going on? Han-Asia finally reacted. Obviously, there is a gap in combat power between Lin Chen and that Namek guy, so how come Lin Chen is still not at a disadvantage? Slag also wanted to know this question. You nimble monkey. The current battle made Slag feel extremely frustrated. It was obvious that his strength far exceeded that of his opponent, but the situation on the battlefield was still 50-50. Don't you understand? You are so stupid. You have all the power but don't know how to use it. You disappoint me so much. Lin Chen easily dodged Slag's attack, with a hint of regret in his tone. He originally thought that the giant slug would allow him to exert his full strength, but unfortunately. Perhaps it was because he was sent to the planet Slug when he was very young, and on that planet, Slug has been basically invincible since he became an adult, and has few rivals. So even though Slug is a super Namek, he is far behind in the use of his strength. Chapter 94. Disappoint you? Ridiculous. Who do you think you are? How dare you speak so arrogantly in front of me? Slug's loud voice made the air swirl. He had a ferocious look on his face and came roaring towards us, waving his huge fist. The giant fist, like a meteorite, was domineering and shocking, but before it hit Lin Chen dodged it in advance as if he had predicted it. In Namek, there is a special technique called the perception of Chi. A Namek, like you, who wandered to another planet during the Namek catastrophe, improved this technique into a special martial art that allows one to predict and judge the enemy's movements without using their eyes, just by sensing the flow of Chi. Compared to that Namek, your power is great, but you don't know how to use it. Hearing Lin Chen's light words, veins popped out on Slag's forehead. Shut up! The mist fist suddenly swept towards Lin Chen, but was easily avoided by him again. Instead, Lin Chen stood on Slag's fist and began to run along his arm. Bang! Lin Chen's fist hit Slag's face hard, making him see stars. After a heavy punch, it was followed by a thunderous and fast attack. Lin Chen's fists and feet hit Slag's head countless times in the blink of an eye, and finally his palms came together, and a golden light suddenly burst out. Kamehameha! A ki blast emitting golden light shot out straight, as fierce as a roaring dragon, and hit Slag's head with unstoppable force. When the light faded, Slag's head had disappeared in full view of everyone. The great king! King Shiraj! The demon warriors wailed in grief. And Saiyan cheered loudly. Win! Long live! Long live His Majesty Lynx! While cheering, these Saiyan warriors, who could be called the top-level ones on Planet Vegeta, were also thinking deeply about what Lin Chen had just said. Bardock, in particular, has a deep understanding of this. It turns out that the difference in strength sometimes does not determine the outcome of a battle. Lin Chen's words were like enlightenment, giving them a deep understanding. However, when everyone thought the situation was settled, Lin Chen did not stop fighting, but stared at the headless body of Slag. Suddenly, Slag's head popped out of his body. This scene scared everyone. Even the demon warriors didn't expect that Slag could be resurrected even with his head gone. Slag panted heavily, looking at Lin Chen with red eyes. Damn it! My strength is obviously stronger than yours. Why is this happening? I won't give up. Slag suddenly opened his mouth wide, and a Qigong cannon suddenly burst out of his mouth. The power of this Qigong cannon is even stronger than Lin Chen's Kamehameha. If it hits the ground, it will probably penetrate the mantle directly. But what good is a powerful move if it can't hit the person? Before the Qigong cannon hit Lin Chen, he disappeared and appeared at Slag's feet, then rushed up quickly, accumulating violent power in his fist. How come you're so fast? By the time Slag reacted, he only had time to stretch out his arms and try to block the attack. Bang! A heart-wrenching pain came from his chest. Slag looked down and suddenly found that a big hole had appeared in his chest without him knowing when. Ah! Slag roared angrily to the sky, his face becoming extremely distorted. But then, he suddenly turned around and looked at Lin Chen, who flew into the sky with a sneer. With a single effort, the big hole in Slag's stomach was quickly filled and soon restored to its original state. Saiyan! You are indeed very strong, but I have made a wish to Shenron Pelungia and obtained immortality. No matter how many times you kill me, I will not die. After being strengthened by Namek Shenron, Slug's recovery ability is now comparable to that of the future android Cell. Judging from Slug's aura, he doesn't seem to have the problem of consuming a lot of energy every time a limb is regenerated, like ordinary Namek people. If there wasn't an absolute gap in strength, it would be almost impossible for Slag to lose. It's a pity that the person he met this time was Lin Chen. Immortal body? It doesn't exist in front of me. It's just that your recovery ability is stronger. As long as all your body is turned into nothingness, how can you be reborn? Lin Chen sneered. Slag was stunned, and also laughed wildly. Ridiculous. With just your little power, how can you turn me into nothingness? I want to see what you can do. Then just open your eyes and watch. After he finished speaking, Lin Chen suddenly roared wildly, his body instantly grew larger, and his already terrifying aura also increased. His body quickly grew to over 2 meters in size, and the area within a few feet around him was covered by blazing yellow-green flames. The legendary Super Saiyan form. This is the first time that Lin Chen has revealed this legendary form in front of everyone since he returned to his own world. Why did you transform again? Seeing Lin Chen's terrifying figure, Slag swallowed his saliva and actually felt a little scared. Not only him, but everyone on the entire planet, including Bardock, Han Asia, and others, have been suppressed by Lin Chen's aura and are gradually unable to move. Wow, so scary. Isn't your Majesty a Super Saiyan? So there are other transformations above Super Saiyan. As a Super Saiyan, Han Axia can best feel the gap between herself and Lin Chen. As for the other Saiyans, they couldn't even speak because of the suppressive effect of the super bloodline on the Saiyans. Ha ha ha, you're playing tricks on me. Do you think you can kill me by changing your appearance? Slag laughed unwillingly, and suddenly heard Lin Chen say, of course. Then, Lin Chen in front of him disappeared instantly. When he appeared again, he had already come to Slag's head and punched Slag hard in the middle of his eyebrows. This time, Slag's head exploded like a balloon and he fell down with a bang. With a loud bang, Slag's body fell to the ground, but when he got up, Slag's head had regenerated. What's going on? Your power. Slag climbed up with a dizzy head, staggering, his heart full of intense confusion. He didn't understand why Saiyan, whose body had just swelled up, looked like a completely different person. Could it be that his transformation, like mine, would double his combat power? You don't have to get up, just lie down and wait to die. In midair, Lin Chen shouted loudly, turned his palm down, and pressed hard. The space seemed to solidify, and under the push of his palm, Slag fell to the ground. Boom! Chapter 95. A huge handprint appeared within a few kilometers around Slag. Under the handprint, Slag was buried deep underground, and all the bones in his body seemed to be broken. Although his body was recovering quickly, the severe pain still made him feel that life was worse than death. Lin Chen fell down and grabbed Slag with one hand. He used less than 1/10 of his body to pull the giant Slag up from the ground. Damn BD! Slag suddenly opened his arms, stretched out his hand, and grabbed Lin Chen forcefully. Ha ha ha! You can't escape now. I'm going to crush you to death. Slag suddenly exerted force, but found that his hands were unable to press down at all. No matter how hard Slag tried, he couldn't crush Lin Chen to death as he imagined. How is it possible? Why is this happening? Slug, do you think you are the strongest? But how do you know that there are always people who are better than you? Lin Chen said in a cold voice. He easily spread Slag's hands apart, and then, with his distorted face, he threw Slag into the sky, and then suddenly threw out 2 green energy bombs with both hands. Massive meteors. 2 energy bombs followed Slag and suddenly expanded in midair, suddenly becoming like 2 green suns. Under the impact of these 2 energy balls filled with surging energy, Slag's body began to suffer severe damage and erosion as soon as it came into contact with them. Every cell in his body was broken down by this energy and then turned into nothingness. Please, please, don't kill me. Don't kill me. At this moment, Slag finally felt the threat of death. He finally understood that what Lin Chen said before was not a joke. He really has the ability to kill Slag instantly. Even with Slug's enhanced recovery ability, if every cell in his body was evaporated at the same moment, there would be no way for him to recover. Clearly feeling that he was about to be swallowed by death, Slag roared sadly and his face began to distort. Lin Chen watched all this silently, but the voice of the system suddenly sounded in his mind. Ding! Remind the host that you still have a task to complete. Find Slug without using any external force and bring him back to Namek alive. Almost forgot. Lin Chen was shocked and waved his hands. The 2 energy balls instantly dissipated by themselves. At this time, only a small part of Slag's head and neck was left. Lin Chen dodged and flew in front of Slag's head, grabbed it, and asked in a cold tone, Slag, do you want to die or surrender? I surrender. I surrender. With a light flick, Lin Chen threw Slag's head to the ground. Hannah, Burdock. Get rid of all of Slag's men. I want to control this planet immediately. The fruits of the spirit tree here belong to us. Yes, Your Majesty. After receiving Lin Chen's order, Burdock and Han Asia came to their senses and began to attack Slag's subordinates. Shock waves broke through the sky. With Burdock and his men having an average combat strength of several 100,000, plus Han Asia being a super Saiyan, dealing with these miscellaneous soldiers with a combat strength of only tens of thousands is like a tiger entering a flock of sheep. These demons and Slag Star warriors were no match for them at all, and screams continued to ring out. Ah! King Slug! Save me! Help, my king! The screams were quickly swallowed up by the burning energy. Slag's body had recovered by this time, but the mental trauma was not so easy to recover from. Although Lin Chen has now returned to normal and no longer exudes a dangerous aura, Slag loses all his fighting spirit when he thinks of the fear of being so close to death before. He stopped his gigantic form, then knelt on one knee beside Lin Chen, trembling, and completely ignored the requests for help from his subordinates. Finally, the screams completely subsided, and there was no Slug left alive on the entire planet. Under the guidance of Han Asia and their combat power detectors, no one can escape Saiyan's pursuit. Your Majesty! The planet has been cleaned. A moment later, Burdock and his group came to Lin Chen and knelt on one knee. Burdock, Don't inform the Galactic Patrol yet. We have completed our mission. Stay here and pick all the fruits of the spirit tree when they are ripe. Clear. After giving the order, Lin Chen looked at Slag again and asked, Slag, what does the seed of the spirit tree fruit look like? My lord, I have heard that each spirit tree will produce 1 or 2 golden fruits, which are the seeds of the spirit tree. Slag didn't dare to hide anything and told the truth. Did you all hear that? Remember to save the seeds. I have other things to do here, so I need to take this guy away for a while. You guys just collect all the fruits you can. Understood, Your Majesty. After giving all the instructions, Lin Chen put his hand on Slag's shoulder, and the next moment, he used instant transmission and arrived in Namek. When he saw the familiar scene around him, Slag was stunned. Sir, what are you doing? Lin Chen did not answer him immediately, but listened to the system prompts sounding in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the selection. You found Slug without using any external force and brought him back to Namek alive. Now the rewards will be distributed. Then, Lin Chen suddenly gained some knowledge related to superpowers in his mind. Host, Lin Chen Combat Power, 6.68 million Bloodline, Legend of Super Saiyan Bloodline Skills, Instant Transmission, Primary Martial Arts Genius Talent, Primary Potential Development Technique, Perfect Control of Chi, Primary Telekinesis. With a slight smile, Lin Chen said, This is Namek, there is someone who wants to see you. To see me? Lin Chen put his hand on Slag's shoulder again, and this time, he jumped directly to the house of the Great Elder. When Slag saw the Great Elder appearing before him, he was immediately shocked. It's you. Slug. Seeing Slag suddenly appear in front of him, Nilo was shocked and immediately took a defensive stance. But he soon saw that Lin Chen was also beside Slag. Mr. Lin Chen. Lin Chen nodded and said to the Great Elder, Great Elder, I have fulfilled the original agreement. Now I have brought Slag here. Whether he lives or dies is entirely up to you to decide. What? Slag was shocked. He originally thought that he had escaped the disaster, but he didn't expect that the disaster was only delayed for a while. Slug wanted to escape immediately, but Lin Chen, who was prepared, immediately transformed into the legendary Super Saiyan form and slapped Slug to the ground with one palm. Chapter 96. A big life. Slag fell to the ground, immediately holding his head and begging for mercy. Don't act rashly, or I'll kill you. Lin Chen snorted coldly and looked up at the Great Elder. Great Elder, Slag's current strength is far superior to your Namek. If it weren't for me, he could kill all of you by himself, so you have to think carefully. When Lin Chen was speaking, the Great Elder and others were shocked by the terrifying supernatural aura emanating from him. Such a terrifying power, the whole planet seemed to be shaking. No wonder even Slug, a super Namek, is no match for him. I was not wrong at the beginning. This young man is indeed the savior of Namek. Coming back to his senses, the Great Elder said, Mr. Lin Chen, please hold back your aura first. If you continue like this, Namek will not be able to bear it. All right. Lin Chen released his breath and kicked Slag. So what are you going to do with him? I don't have much time, I can't always be with you. The Great Elder nodded, then opened his eyes that had been closed for a long time and looked at Slag. I really didn't expect it, Mr. Lin Chen. When I asked you for help, I thought you would kill Slag directly. I didn't expect you to be able to capture him alive. Thank you very much. In fact, it would be better to bring him back to Namek than to kill him directly. The Elder sighed and said, Mr. Lin Chen, please stay a little longer and keep an eye on Slug for me. I need to summon the Dragon Ball on Namek. Dragon Ball? You want to use Shenron? Lin Chen raised his eyebrows, somewhat confused about the Great Elder's intention. Yes, Slug, I'll leave it to you first. All right. Lin Chen crossed his arms, ready to see how the Great Elder was going to deal with Slag. Judging from his appearance, he doesn't seem to want to kill Slug, he just summoned the Dragon Ball, so what is the purpose? Lin Chen was puzzled. And Slag was kneeling on the ground with a look of despair on his face. Just when everyone was having different thoughts, elders from various villages kept coming with Dragon Balls. When they saw Slug, they were all shocked, thinking that this guy came to ask for the Dragon Ball again. However, when they saw Lin Chen, they realized that things did not seem to be the case. Putting down the Dragon Ball, the elders gathered together and secretly called Nalu over to ask about the situation. Nilu, what's going on? Yet, why is Slag here again? Lin Chen is here too. I don't know either. This is all arranged by the Great Elder. Finally, when all 7 Dragon Balls were gathered, the Great Elder actually stood up from his chair and summoned Shenron himself. Following the call of the Great Elder, the sky over Namek suddenly darkened. Those who have collected 7 Dragon Balls, please tell us your wish. Shenron Porunga said with great momentum. The Great Elder took a deep breath and shouted at Porunga with all his might. Because the Great Elder made the wish directly in Namek language, Lin Chen had no idea what he was saying. But he found that after the Great Elder finished speaking, the expressions of Nilu and others beside him changed drastically, and even Slag beside him began to tremble violently. Why? Why would you do that? Lin Chen glanced at them and shouted to Neilu, Neilu, what wish did the Great Elder talk about? Mr. Lin Chen, the Great Elder wants Shenron to dispel the evil thoughts in Slag's body. Dispel evil thoughts? Wait, isn't Slug a purely evil Namek? How does this dispel evil? Sure enough, Porunga lowered his head, with 2 snail-like tentacles floating in the air. Sorry, this wish cannot be fulfilled. There is no good in Slag's body anymore, only pure evil. To dispel the evil thoughts is to kill him. The Great Elder seemed to have known the answer when he heard this, but he said with a little regret, I know, it is true. Then Shenron, can you purify Slag's evil thoughts? Slag's power has surpassed mine, so I can't fulfill this wish, said Porunga. You may not be able to do it alone, but if someone cooperates with you, can you do it? The Elder asked again. You can try. But it requires all my strength, and it will cost you 3 wishes. The Great Elder smiled, and then said to the others, everyone, listen carefully. From now on, Slug is the new Great Elder. The magical power of Dragon Ball will continue. Grand Elder. What? All the elders widened their eyes, and Slag was even more incredulous. What did the Great Elder mean? He actually wanted to give the position of Elder to Slag? Lin Chen was also confused. What's going on? I brought Slug here from far away, and he's going to become the Great Elder of Namek? But how could such an unforgivable evil person become the Great Elder of the Namek people? Is the Great Elder crazy? At this time, Nilu seemed to know the intention of the Great Elder. He shouted, no, Great Elder. Is it worth it for such a bloody guy? It's my fault that Slag has become what he is now. If it weren't for me, he should have been a good boy. I have to make up for my mistakes myself. As the Great Elder spoke, he walked up to Slag with his cane and placed a hand on his chest. Hey! Old man, what are you doing? Slag said in panic, but he didn't dare to act rashly because of Lin Chen. Don't worry, your consciousness will not be affected in any way, you are still you. The Elder said with a smile. Seeing the Elder's actions, Lin Chen finally understood. Was the Elder going to fuse with Slag? Using his own kindness to help Shenron purify the evil in Slag's heart? Great Elder, you. Lin Chen couldn't help but speak. Mr. Lin Chen, thank you. Thanks to you, I have the opportunity to make up for my mistakes. Goodbye, may the Namek people always have peace. Swish. As the Great Elder disappeared, Shenron Porunga's eyes emitted a red light, and a bolt of lightning fell from the sky and instantly landed on Slag. Ah! Slag seemed to be in great pain and immediately screamed. Immediately afterwards, Lin Chen saw a ball of black gas suddenly coming out of his mouth. At this time, the 3rd Elder Mulai shouted, Mr. Lin Chen. That is Slag's evil thought, please help Shenron purify it. Purify? How? Use your chi. Hearing this, Lin Chen instantly turned into the legendary Super Saiyan, and then clasped his palms together. Kamehameha. The golden ki blast rushed towards the black gas, crash. The black gas was instantly broken through and blown away until it disappeared. Chapter 97. Your wish has been fulfilled. Farewell, Great Elder. Just as Lin Chen used his chi to disperse the black gas, Shenron Barunga stared with his blood-red dragon eyes and said something, then disappeared in front of everyone. When the sky became daylight again, Slag stood up from the ground. Lin Chen stood aside, looking up and down at the Namek man who was once called Slag. Although he still looked like the original Slag, his aura was indeed completely different from the past. Not only was there no trace of evil in his aura anymore, but instead he was as gentle and peaceful as the Great Elder of the past. It may be because most of Slug's strength was taken away by the evil force, and his combat power is now much weaker than before, with only about 5 million left. Slug, what's wrong with you? I am neither Slug nor the Great Elder now, but a Namek who has forgotten even his own name. Slug replied, looking at his body. Hearing this, Lin Chen turned around and asked Neilu, what happened just now? Why did Slag become like this? Neilu sighed, in order to allow Shenron to dispel the evil thoughts in Slag, the Great Elder has just assimilated with Slag. What you just eliminated, Mr. Lin Chen, was the evil thoughts that had accumulated in Slag's body in the past. Originally, this evil thought would create a new clone. If the clone is killed, the original body will also die. However, because of the vitality provided by the Great Elder after assimilation, Slag's original body did not die with the clone. I really didn't expect that the Great Elder would go to such lengths for Slag. Hearing this, Lin Chen couldn't help but sigh. At this time, the second Elder of Namek stepped forward and said, Slag, although I cannot understand the Elder's idea, according to the Elder's last wish, you will be the new Elder of our Namek. Slag turned his head, and the hostility that had always appeared on his face in the past was no longer seen. I understand. After fusion with the Great Elder, I have understood the truth of the matter and I no longer hate him. From now on, I will inherit the will of the Great Elder and work hard for the peace of Namek. After that, Slag turned to look at Lin Chen and bowed to him, Mr. Lin Chen, thank you very much. If you had killed me on the Lalula planet, I would not have had the opportunity to be reborn. Lin Chen never expected that things would end like this. The Great Elder, who was supposed to die in several years, unexpectedly left the world ahead of time by way of fusion with Slag. In this way, the story of this world will probably become a mess in the future. But Lin Chen changed his mind and realized that even Frieza was already dead, and there would be no battle for the Namek Dragon Ball in the future, so what plot was there to think about? After saying goodbye to the Namek people, Lin Chen returned to the planet Lalula. At this time, all the fruits of the spirit trees on the planet had been picked, and even a spirit tree seed had been successfully discovered. After settlement, Lin Chen and his friends had made a rich harvest this time. Due to the rich life energy on Lalula Star, the spirit tree produced at least thousands of spirit tree fruits. Lin Chen first took out a dozen of them and distributed them to the Saiyan warriors who participated in the mission. Everyone could get a few as a reward for them. After eating the spirit tree fruit several times, Lin Chen also realized that the effect of this thing in improving combat effectiveness is actually limited. Its greater effect is to enhance mental strength and nourish the body's vitality. So a few pills per person are enough for them to consume. As for the remaining spirit tree fruits, Lin Chen planned to keep half for himself to cultivate his spiritual power, and the rest would be given as rewards on Vegeta Star to those Saiyans who had made contributions. In the future, Lin Chen plans to plant the spirit tree again after finding a suitable planet. As long as they rely on Shenron's power, they might be able to get more fruits of the spirit tree on Planet Vegeta in the future. By that time, let alone as a reward, it would be more than enough to provide one to each Saiyan. By that time, I'm afraid Saiyan's overall strength will also have a new leap forward. After arranging everything, Lin Chen led everyone to destroy the spirit tree on the planet Lalula, and then instantly transmitted and disappeared from the planet. In the blink of an eye, another 2 months passed. Since bringing back a large number of spirit tree fruits, many people, including King Vegeta, have started a new round of training. On the one hand, it is because of the precious item such as the spirit tree fruit which is extremely helpful for cultivation. On the other hand, the legendary Super Saiyan form that Lin Chen displayed in the battle with Slug also gave them great stimulation. The Saiyans are all unwilling to admit defeat. Although they know that they cannot catch up with Lin Chen, King Vegeta and the others are unwilling to fall too far behind Lin Chen. Especially Han Axia, this experience made her deeply feel her own powerlessness. After coming back, she often came to Lin Chen to exercise together. On this day, after beating Han Asia up, Lin Chen walked out of the gravity room and saw Paragus. Paragus, didn't you go to practice? My qualifications are mediocre, not as good as your majesty, and far behind Burdock and the others. I have decided to focus my energy on the Vegeta planet and your majesty's great cause. Paragus said with his head down. Lin Chen smiled, knowing that he was not deliberately showing off. Indeed, among Lin Chen's right-hand men, Paragus's qualifications are the most mediocre. Although he gave birth to a genius like Broly, Paragus' own qualifications can only be considered ordinary. If it were not for the potential that Lin Chen had improved for him in the past and the fruit of the spirit tree, he would not even be able to reach a combat power of 500,000. Tell me, what happened this time? Your Majesty, it's Dr. Gero. He has made a request and it's difficult for me to make a decision. Paragus said. There are no Saiyan scientists, but there are many on other planets. Since Dr. Gero arrived, Lin Chen asked Paragus to be the counterpart to Dr. Gero. If Dr. Gero needs anything, he can go directly to Paragus. During these days, Paragus had a new research institute built for Gero, and at the same time recruited experts in biology and robotics from other planets to cooperate with Dr. Gero's research. Now that he heard that Paragus had something he couldn't decide, Lin Chen couldn't help but feel curious. Oh? What is it that you can't decide? Paragus came up and whispered something in Lin Chen's ear. Hearing this, Lin Chen's eyes suddenly focused. I understand, I'll go over and take a look first, then make a decision. Yes, Your Majesty. Chapter 98. Dr. Gero's Research Institute is not on Planet Vegeta, but on an asteroid in the galaxy where Planet Vegeta is located. Because the gravity of Planet Vegeta is 10 times that of the Earth, even if Dr. Gero's combat power has been improved, it is still a burden for Dr. Gero who is not familiar with this kind of gravity. Taking into account that those universe people who came to serve as Dr. Gero's assistants could not be strong, Paragus finally set up the research institute on another planet after comprehensive consideration. Since they are in the same galaxy, traveling back and forth is quite convenient. It only takes about 10 minutes by spaceship from Vegeta. When Lin Chen arrived at the research institute using instant transmission, Dr. Gero was having a heated debate with several universe scientists. No. This design must be done this way. But this is so unreasonable. As long as it complies with science, it is reasonable. Lin Chen coughed and said, Dr. Gero. Hearing this, Dr. Gero, who was arguing, was stunned for a moment. When he turned around and saw Lin Chen, he immediately dismissed everyone and ran over hurriedly with a respectful look on his face. Your Majesty Lin Chen. Why are you here? I heard from Paragus that there are some problems with your recent research. I came to take a look. Lin Chen put his hands behind his back, looked around and said, This is my first time here, do you mind showing me around? Of course not. Dr. Gero immediately took Lin Chen to visit the research institute. From research rooms, laboratories, production workshops to living areas, the small research institute has everything you need. While visiting, Lin Chen asked, Dr. Gero, Paragus said you hope to get Saiyans' body for research, right? Yes, Your Majesty, but please don't misunderstand me, Your Majesty, I don't mean to blaspheme Saiyan, but I hope to perfect my artificial human technology through research. Dr. Gero explained, Your Majesty, you may already know that my android technology is essentially a technology for transforming humans. The androids I created in the Red Ribbon Army and android number 11 that you destroyed were all transformed by me using human bodies. But now that we are far away from Earth, I want to study Saiyans' body. I think that since Saiyans' body is stronger than humans, if we can modify it based on Saiyan, we will definitely get a more powerful artificial human. I'm sorry, Dr. Gero, I can't agree to your request. Lin Chen shook his head and said, Saiyan takes his body very seriously and will never let you do whatever you want. But Your Majesty. Lin Chen shook his head and said, Dr. Gero, I know you have the ability to create artificial humans out of thin air, right? Out of thin air. Dr. Gero was stunned for a moment. Theoretically, it is possible. I once made one for the Red Ribbon Army. Then let's continue researching in this direction. Lin Chen touched his chin and said, Dr. Gero, I can give you two choices now. One is to create artificial humans out of thin air, and the other is that we can provide you with some corpses of criminals from the universe so that you can conduct research on human transformation. But I personally like the former more. Creating artificial humans out of thin air. That's right. Dr. Gero, I know that your purpose in creating androids in the past was to create super soldiers to defeat the Red Ribbon Army's enemies, but now that you work for us Saiyans, the purpose of creating androids should be changed. Lin Chen said, Saiyan does not need super android warriors yet, but warriors who can assist us Saiyan in battle, and androids who can practice with Saiyan. In other words, we need android warriors that can be mass-produced, not just a few elite ones. Your future research findings should be developed in this direction first. After you have accumulated enough technology, maybe I can let you do some research on super warriors. I understand. Dr. Gero lowered his head, not knowing whether he had heard it or not. At this time, Lin Chen suddenly threw a fruit to Dr. Gero. Your Majesty, is this the fruit of the spirit tree? Dr. Gero frowned as he looked at the slightly ugly fruit in his hand. This is indeed the fruit of the spirit tree, which can activate the vitality of cells. Dr. Gero, you should be quite old, right? This can increase your lifespan and enhance your combat effectiveness. Lin Chen introduced. What? There is such a thing in the universe. Dr. Gero said with joy. For a man of his age, nothing could be more gratifying than being able to increase his lifespan. Carefully taking the fruit, Dr. Gero's expression changed. The hesitation, regret and reluctance on his face turned into respect for Lin Chen again. Thank you for your reward, Your Majesty. I will readjust the direction of my research. But Your Majesty, if possible, it would be best if you could give me some universe human bodies. Lord Paragus has found a lot of helpers for me. I think I can conduct 2 lines of research at the same time. Okay. I'll let Paragus arrange it. After saying that, Lin Chen prepared to leave. But at this moment, he suddenly thought of something and turned around and said, by the way, Dr. Gero, are you doing research on genetic technology? Genetic technology? Your Majesty, what are you talking about? Dr. Gero asked in surprise. Lin Chen stared at Dr. Gero, and after a few seconds, he smiled and said, that's good. Goodbye then. After saying that, Lin Chen used instant transmission and left the research institute. Returning to Planet Vegeta, Lin Chen appeared directly in front of Paragus. Your Majesty? You are back. Yes. Dr. Gero, I have already made arrangements. Paragus, if there are any universe people killed by us during a mission in the future, remember to have someone bring their bodies back to Dr. Gero for research. Lin Chen said. Your Majesty, do you agree with his experiment in transforming humans? Paragus said. Lin Chen nodded, as long as he doesn't use Saiyans' body, let him do what he wants. But Your Majesty. Paragus suddenly looked hesitant. What's wrong? Your Majesty, I heard that Dr. Gero once created a cyborg with a combat power of more than 100,000. With human power, it is actually possible to create such a warrior. I have never heard of this technology. So I am worried, what if one day Dr. Gero creates a cyborg that exceeds the strength of our Saiyans? What should we do then? Do you think he can do it? Lin Chen asked. Well, I just think there is such a possibility. Paragus is not very confident. But Lin Chen knew that he was not worrying for no reason. In the original history, Dr. Gero did accomplish such a feat. He used science and technology to transform ordinary people with a combat power of less than 5 into android warriors with more powerful strength than the Universe Emperor. Frieza. Chapter 99. It is precisely because he knew Dr. Gero's brilliant achievements in the future that Lin Chen realized that Paragus's worries were not groundless. Your Majesty, there are many technological civilizations in the universe that have been destroyed because of their own technological creations. We must be on guard against such things. Paragus said. Lin Chen pondered for a moment, then nodded and said, I understand, Paragus, keep an eye on Dr. Gero. Understood, Your Majesty. Paragus nodded. At the same time, on Earth, in the office of the Department of Bioengineering at Kiteto University, a figure was chatting and laughing with a group of professors in the office. Suddenly, an email alert sounded at the scene. Professor, you seem to have new emails. Hearing this, the figure who was chatting just now turned around and looked, really? Wait a moment. The figure walked to his computer, and when he saw the sender of the new email on the computer, he was stunned for a moment, then closed the computer. I'm sorry everyone, I have something to do and I have to leave first. Ah? Goodbye, Professor. Goodbye, Professor. The figure said nothing more, but took his laptop and left the school. After an unknown amount of time had passed, in the mountainous area of a northern city, a flying vehicle finally landed at the bottom of a basin in the mountainous area. The figure jumped off the aircraft, looked around, and soon found a red stone nearby. When the figure reached out and turned the stone, a rumbling sound was heard all around. Then, a huge iron gate suddenly appeared on an ordinary cliff. On the iron gate, there was a bright red RR logo, which made the figure frown. Since dealing with Dr. Gero's matter, Lin Chen started practicing again. Time passed very quickly, and in the blink of an eye, 3 years had passed. On a desolate planet far away from star Vegeta, Lin Chen looked at his body with excitement. Silver-white arcs kept flashing in the space around him. Your Majesty! Is this your legendary Super Saiyan 2 form? So powerful! With this overwhelming aura, you must be the most powerful Saiyan in the world, right? Hanasia said excitedly not far away. Bardock was also present, and as he watched Lin Chen's transformation, a few drops of sweat slid down his face. As expected of your Majesty, this aura is undoubtedly that of a god in my opinion. Lin Chen's legendary Super Saiyan form would already make a pure-blooded Saiyan feel fear from the bottom of his heart. His current legendary Super Saiyan 2 form, although not as scary as the first form, makes people want to worship him. This is the power of the Saiyan King. When he felt that his aura was no longer growing, Lin Chen excitedly checked his attributes. Host, Lin Chen Combat Power, 710 million. Because he had been honing his mental strength, Lin Chen had not practiced his physical body much in the past 3 years. But relying on the power of his bloodline, Lin Chen's normal combat power slowly increased to 7.1 million. To be honest, in terms of the growth of normal combat power alone, Lin Chen's speed in recent years is not even as fast as Hanasia and Bardock, whose normal combat power is now 1.4 million and 1.9 million respectively. However, Lin Chen did not feel ashamed. Because during these 3 years, he has been focusing more on improving his mental strength. Relying on constant training and taking a large amount of spirit tree fruit, Lin Chen's mental power has finally been condensed to a certain level. And it's enough for him to break through to the legendary Super Saiyan 2 form. In the Super Saiyan 2 form, Lin Chen's combat power can be increased 100 times. The normal combat force is 7.1 million, and the increase is 100 times, which means a combat force of more than 700 million. At the same time, because of the improvement of his mental strength, Lin Chen now does not feel unable to control his emotions at all like when he first used the experience card. But this is just normal times. I wonder what will happen if the battle starts. Thinking of this, Lin Chen said, Bardock, Hannah, both of you come together and practice with me. Ah! Your Majesty, the gap between us and you is too big, isn't it? Stop talking nonsense and get started. Lin Chen shouted. Hearing this, Hanasia was the first to transform into a Super Saiyan. Bardock hesitated for a moment and then also transformed. That's right, in these 3 years, Bardock has broken through himself and become the 3rd Super Saiyan on Planet Vegeta. Compared with Lin Chen's natural transformation and Hanasia's artificial elevation, Bardock's transformation was much more difficult. In the end, it was also under Lin Chen's guidance, through meditation training, imagining the scene of Vegeta planet being destroyed by Frieza, and relying on extreme anger to complete the transformation. But after all, he transformed through his own efforts. As a Super Saiyan, Bardock's strength has reached 38 million, which is higher than Hanasia and even cooler back then. When 2 Super Saiyans appeared in front of him, Lin Chen smiled and said to Hanasia, Hannah, show us all your strength. Ah! But your Majesty, that would be too ugly. Hanasia said hesitantly. Stop talking nonsense. After being yelled at by Lin Chen, Hanasia looked aggrieved. Bardock was confused. Didn't Hanasia transform? What did Lin Chen mean? The next moment, Bardock finally understood. Hanaxia suddenly screamed, and all the muscles in her body swelled up at once, just like Lin Chen transformed into Chuan Chao, her body became much more muscular. And her aura suddenly exploded and expanded, finally reaching a level that was much higher than Bardock's. Princess Hannah, your battle. It should be around 50 million now, right? According to links, I'm now in the 2nd stage form of Super Saiyan 1, Hannah explained. Super Saiyan 1 2nd stage? So there is a transition between Super Saiyan 2 and 1. Bardock said in surprise. Seeing that he was a little dazed, Lin Chen explained, Bardock, Super Saiyan has several transformation forms. My current state is what I call Super Saiyan 2. Your status is Super Saiyan 1. And in the change from Super Saiyan 1 to 2, there are several levels. You are now in the ordinary Super Saiyan form, which can also be called Super Saiyan level 1. Hanasia has surpassed your level and reached Super Saiyan level 2. Then there is the 3rd stage, and the most perfect form of Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan full power. Different stages of transformation will have different increases in combat power. Because of your bloodline, your Super Saiyan transformation will only increase by 20 times at the beginning, but after entering the second stage, the increase will become 35 times. The further you go, the higher the increase will be. Hearing this, Bardock couldn't help but ask, Your Majesty, what about you? I'm different from you. My bloodline is the legendary Super Saiyan bloodline that only appears once every 1,000 years. Therefore, my combat power in the Super Saiyan form is increased by 50 times. After transforming into the Super Saiyan 2 form, my power has increased by 100 times. Chapter 100. 200 times. Bardock was secretly surprised after hearing this, and felt that the gap between himself and Lin Chen was like heaven and earth. But Lin Chen's words also pointed out a way for Bardock to become stronger. Although he himself may not have the talent to move forward, what he heard today may help his son in the future. Okay, Bardock, Hannah, take action. After hearing Lin Chen's angry rebuke, the two men came to their senses. Get started. Bardock roared, not holding back at all this time, all the energy in his body bursting out. Hanasia was also ready, and she gathered all her strength right away, suddenly launching a ki blast at Lin Chen. At this moment, with Lin Chen as the center, the surging energy was burning, the earth was shaking, and the air was vibrating. Boom! A deafening roar suddenly erupted above the planet, and everything was shrouded in the sudden burst of golden light. Buzz! When the light faded, Hanasia and Bardock had fallen to the ground, unconscious. Not long after, in a house that appeared out of nowhere in the wilderness, Lin Chen gave Hanasia and Bardock a cup of hot coffee each. I'm sorry, I seem to have used a little too much force just now. Your Majesty, you bully me. Hanasia looked aggrieved. Bardock touched his head with a look of pain on his face. Ha ha ha. Lin Chen laughed. Although he had tried his best to restrain his strength, the gap between the two sides was too big, and Hanasia and Bardock still suffered a lot thanks to you. I have now fully mastered my new transformation. Even in the battle before, Lin Chen was still able to stay lucid. After 3 years of training, his mental strength has indeed been able to perfectly control the legendary Super Saiyan 2 form. I wonder what kind of changes will happen to my Super Legend 2 form? Will it be Super Legend 3? Or another variant? Lin Chen took a deep breath and a look of anticipation appeared on his face. According to his current training speed, it seems that it is not impossible for him to reach the level of gods of destruction in the future. By the way, what year is it now? Lin Chen suddenly recalled that he seemed to have been practicing for a long time without realizing it. Your Majesty, it is now the 756th year of the Earth era, almost February or March, Bardock said. Seeing that he remembered the time on Earth so clearly, it was obvious that he had always been paying attention to Earth, or rather, to his son Son Goku. The 23rd martial arts tournament is coming soon, right? I remember Tais and I made an appointment to go watch it together. Hannah, have you seen her recently? Lin Chen asked. Hannah shook her head. Tais seems to be in seclusion writing. I haven't seen her for a long time. Then let's go over and take a look together this time. Where's Bardock? Bardock was stunned for a moment, then nodded and said, I'll go too. Then let's go together. Let's go Hannah, let's go back to Planet Vegeta first. Okay. By the way, Your Majesty, I have something I would like to seek your opinion on. Bardock suddenly asked. What is it? Bardock hesitated for a moment and said, Your Majesty, since we have the fruit of the spirit tree, the average combat power of the Saiyans on Planet Vegeta has increased a lot, and the gap between Kakarot and them has become larger and larger. I am now considering whether I need to give that kid some advice. But I remember His Majesty once said that it is best not to disturb Kakarot's training on Earth, so... Yes. Lin Chen also understood what Bardock meant. Now with the introduction of the perception of Chi to Vegeta Star, the average level of Saiyan is getting stronger day by day. In contrast, Son Goku, who is also a Saiyan, has been increasingly separated from his compatriots. As a fan of Son Goku and others in the original work, Lin Chen was unwilling to disturb the people on Earth at the beginning because he didn't want the plot to change too much. But now it seems that the subsequent plot in the original book is unlikely to happen, perhaps it is time for Lin Chen to intervene. Lin Chen then said, Okay, Bardock, after this competition is over, we will give Kakarot some advice, but leave this matter to me. Hearing this, Bardock said happily, It is great that Your Majesty is willing to help. The day of the world's #1 martial arts tournament is approaching, and Lin Chen and his friends have gone to Earth in advance to watch the competition. On May 7th, it was cloudy and rainy on the southeast island where the world's #1 martial arts tournament was held. The reunited Lin Chen family, Bulma, Wolong Puer, and others came to the entrance of the venue together. As soon as they got off the car, they saw Master Roshi and Ranchi holding umbrellas. "Hi! Bulma! Oolong, Puer!" Lan Chi waved her hands enthusiastically and greeted them. Looking at Bulma's beautiful dress, Master Roshi's blood boiled and he wanted to go up and touch her. But suddenly, Master Roshi's hair stood on end and he stopped. Because he saw Lin Chen's terrifying family again. "Master Roshi, long time no see." Lin Chen smiled and waved. "Haha, long time no see." Master Roshi laughed awkwardly and immediately turned to greet Bulma and the others. He really couldn't afford to offend that monster Lin Chen. Fortunately, after saying hello, Lin Chen started chatting with Taisai. "Lin Chen, where are Burdock and the others who came to Earth with you? Didn't I tell you? Now that Goku has grown up, he looks almost exactly like Burdock." Burdock was afraid of being recognized, so he didn't dare to come over. Lin Chen explained. "I say, you Saiyans are really something. What's wrong with father and son meeting each other?" Tais wondered. At this moment, Tais suddenly stopped talking and turned to look to the side. Lin Chen and Hanasia also looked in that direction. "There are 5 good auras," Tais said. "The average combat power is over 400, and the strongest one has 500. Is it Kakarot and the others?" Hanasia guessed. Lin Chen was also a little surprised. He didn't expect that Goku and the other 4 would be much stronger than in the original book. A moment later, 5 figures flashed by quickly and stopped in front of Master Roshi and the others. "Krillin, Tianjing Fan, Yamcha, Gyoza, you're here." Master Roshi and Bulma surrounded them. "Long time no see everyone." Klin and the other 3 greeted him with a smile. "Well, you're back. After 3 years, you've all become stronger." Master Roshi looked at the 4 people and said with great relief. "After we went to Karin Tower with Goku, we trained there for a year and then we became qualified to train in the heavens just like Goku," Krillin said proudly. "Celestial? That's amazing. No wonder all 4 of you have become so much stronger." Master Roshi exclaimed sincerely, "By the way, where's Goku? Why didn't he come with you?" "Goku? Isn't he right here?" Krillin pointed behind him curiously. Master Roshi and the others then noticed that behind Krillin and the other 3, there was a young man who looked somewhat familiar. Bulma wiped her eyes, looked at the young man in confusion, swallowed her saliva, and asked with a look of disbelief on her face, "Well, could it be, you are Goku?" "It's me. Can't you recognize me with the cloth wrapped around my head?" Son Goku said, removing the cloth wrapped around his head. "It's really Goku." Master Roshi and the others were shocked. They didn't expect that the little brat had grown into a tall and handsome young man. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you're notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.